And we're back. Another episode of the Locacacast. I am joined, as always, by my lovely co-hosts, Merc.
Welcome back.
And Dr. Casey motherfucking Aces.
I'm a doctor now.
I am joined by my two co-hosts, as always, but I am different. I'm Zoe now, so there's that. Pay that no mind, really. That shouldn't really influence how the podcast is done. That shouldn't really influence your listening experience as a viewer.
Instead, focus on the fact that I got my doctorate over the course of, 2 months.
Yo!
Basically nothing has changed.
Basically, nothing has changed.
Dr.
Nothing
Casey
significant.
motherfucking Aces.
I'm a doctor in, bullshitology.
This one time, my buddy Dakota and I were walking out of a diner, and we had leftover food, and we gave it to a homeless guy. And then later, I was telling the story, and I was like, yeah. And then we walked outside, and we met Dr. Homeless, and I called him Dr. Homeless.
Dr. Homeless.
Dakota fucking cracked up and was like, he didn't go to college for 8 years for you to disrespect him and call him Mr. Homeless.
He didn't go to college for 8 years just to be put out of a home.
Dr. Homeless.
Such is the way of America.
One of the brightest minds of his generation, reduced
Truly.
to eating leftover chicken fried steak out of a styrofoam
Unmatched.
container.
Dr. Homeless sounds like a Doom Patrol villain.
Dr.
Oh
Homeless.
my god, it really does. That is like a Z tier villain for sure.
Alright.
What are you talking about, man? He's like S tier.
No, you're right. I misspoke. I get them confused.
What would Dr. Homeless's powers be?
Either being homeless or making others homeless.
He's definitely some sort of reality warper, for
He
sure.
he inflicts homelessness, it's a reality swap thing, where if you come in contact with him, you change lives with him.
Huh. Yeah, alright. Is it like the thing in is it like a negative 1-up in Mario?
Yes, it's that. There's
Like
I'm
you
not-
had a
I-
home, but then you touched it and it's like and you're like, oh fuck, where are my keys?
Oh shit, where's my home? Yeah,
It just evaporates the deed.
The land rights go to him.
Right.
Yeah, it's the
land
wonder of you,
rights.
but if you want to pursue Dr. Homeless, you will become homeless by misadventure in the process.
By extremely small circumstance of outrageous misfortune. Yes.
Yes, and the more, the larger the disparity between you and Dr. Homeless is, the more inconvenienced you'll be in the process.
Oh my god, yeah. It's like if you are already basically if you're living in your car, his powers can't do much to you.
No,
But
you
if
have
you know-
very little to lose.
There was a villain of the week on the recent Super Sentai episode where he was like an ATM monster that no. His ability was he'd hit you with he'd stick a cash note to you, and then you'd be crushed under the weight of your own monetary assets.
Oh my god.
So the Red Ranger, who happens to be filthy rich, realized I'm too rich to fight this dude and peaced out.
I've got too much money.
I don't even know who I am anymore. I'm
I
getting
don't
too
even
much
know who
money.
I am any. There's a anime series called Bungo Stray Dogs.
Bungo!
Are you familiar with this?
No, there's a
Or are you just
YouTuber that I
shouting it out
used to
'cause it's
watch who
I'm
did
familiar with
an
the-
ad for Crunchyroll, and in the ad read, he was
Ah.
reading off the names of the shows that you can read, and he was
Bungo.
saying all of them silly, and he went, Bungo!
Yeah.
Stray Dogs!
I'm not a super
So I
familiar
always say
with
it
but
in that cadence, like, let's get ready to rumble, you know?
Let's get ready to bungo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
get ready
the
to
power
bungo.
system is, imagine stands, but they're literary references instead of musical references.
Whoa.
And so the guy who has the Great Gatsby, his power is the more money he spends, the stronger he becomes.
The more
as you would
money we
expect.
come across, the stronger we become.
Exactly.
That's
It's
funny.
good times.
Wait, so it's like
Oh.
literary references for their power names? Does somebody have
Yes.
Don Quixote?
Oh, somebody might. I know that.
Somebody have Moby Dick?
I know somebody has Lovecraft, and it just turns them into a big Cthulhu monster.
Does somebody have the Count of Monte Cristo?
Oh gosh, you're expending my knowledge on this.
Okay, all right. I guess I'll have to go check it out.
I can look up some.
No,
of the
that seems like a
abilities.
waste of time to go trolling the Bungo Stray Dogs wiki right now. I honestly don't
That
feel
is
like that's a
true.
good usage of our time right now.
So
It
in
is-
summary,
We are getting ready to bungo.
Dr. Homeless chooses to be homeless and destitute because it makes him more powerful.
Right.
It makes him so much stronger.
He's one of those stand users who like has chosen a way to live his life that synergizes with his ability.
Someone does in fact have Moby Dick.
Nice. Excellent. Well, that's great news. All right. So, how have you guys been since we last did all this? I've clearly been up to a lot.
Absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
I've had
almost
medical problems.
lost you there, pal.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure you would have lost me, but like I might have lost a certain part of my anatomy
Oh,
if things had gone wrong.
oh no.
Yeah. Well, dang. It was a little bit like, oh shit, what's going on with Merc? I hope he's okay. But how's your
Yeah.
recovery going? You went into
Health
surgery
scares
and
are
now you're
never
like
fun.
on the mend.
On the mend, yeah. I'm fighting a cold. You know, you always get sick after like a hospital stay.
Doesn't that fucking suck? You would think that the hospital would be the one place you could leave.
Well, it's the
Feeling
thing
better.
because your immune system is busy fighting, like, you know, the fallout of the procedure, basically.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, like, you know, the germs, they just sneak in.
Your body kind of has so many action points like per day, and like every time you sleep, you want to get a long restful sleep if you're trying to heal, because then your body's got like 8 hours worth of action points to spend on healing. But if you're trying to like mend and close wounds at the same time as like fighting off a sickness, neither of those things are going to get the action points they deserve.
Yeah.
It's going to get split down the middle.
Bodies are whack.
I like how I have to use a video game analogy to talk about even the simplest of things.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Hey, we're all nerds here.
Yes.
we're all geeks.
Even
used
the
to-
listeners.
I used
Don't
to
putting
don't
things in
deny
the-
it. You clicked
Yeah,
on a
putting-
JoJo podcast.
True.
You know what you're
Nerd.
here for. You're not here for people to have like deep philosophical conversations. We're not supposed to know things. We're gamers.
The less I know, the better. All right. That was a good joke. Nobody laughed at that. I did the fucking thing perfectly.
I got it though.
Cut that
I
out.
mean,
Cut that out of the final.
Okay.
I did get it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
I'm normally, never mind.
I get it. It's not making me laugh, but I get it.
I did get it. I appreciate the
I think it became funnier to me once it got no laughs, and I was like, God damn you! What's wrong with you guys?
honestly, some of the best bits do stem from the initial bit completely fumbling.
Right. It got funnier in the silence afterwards. It got
Yeah.
funnier in the aftermath. Okay. So, yeah, Merc had some health complications and he almost died, but he's here. He didn't almost die, but it was almost bad, but now he's good. I've been doing
we
a
can
lot.
say I almost died. It'll garner me pity points.
Merc almost fucking died, you guys.
It's more interesting and makes our interim seems lesser by comparison.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
No, that's okay. I'm saying this is how we raise your pedestal. This is how we get you those points.
See, life's all about perspective. I'm over here, I got stabbed with a sword, and I'm like, oh, this sucks. I got the worst life. But that guy over there, he got stabbed with 2 swords.
You got stabbed with 2 swords. That's a lot of swords.
That's way more than I expected it would be a survivable amount of swords to be stabbed with concurrently. Let me tell you that.
But I suppose it's all a matter of perspective.
I don't know what character this is we're doing, but I like him.
This is Bostonian medieval man. It's if you've played Hades.
When you think about it, the average person really only gets stabbed with 0 swords.
On average, yeah.
Average person gets stabbed with 8 swords in their lifetime. Statistical fact, actually just rounding error. Swords George, who lives in a cave and stabs himself with 80,000 swords a day, is an outlier and should not have been counted.
He's trying to build an immunity.
That's exactly the joke I was thinking of, but I wasn't smart enough to formulate it in my brain.
It's the
So I'm glad you said it, Zoe.
It's the classic Spiders Georg.
Yeah.
Alright.
He's building up an immunity to sword damage.
Unironically, how Final Fantasy II actually works.
That's awesome. I think more games should work like that.
In order to get your health and defense leveled up, you have to go into battle and get hit.
Yeah.
You have to let them beat the shit out of you. It's incredible.
If Dark Souls operated under those mechanics, you would be invincible by the end of the game.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of already are.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. Depends on your build.
Depends on your build.
I was just reading a thread last night on Twitter where somebody was shit-talking Dark Souls fans. Like, you know what? I don't think you guys actually like the challenge of these games when you're not allowed to immediately invalidate it with whatever fucking crazy broken build you have. And I was like, oof, damn. Shots fired.
There's a lot to be said about that. And with the recent Elden Rings DLC and people complaining that hard game is too hard.
Didn't Miyazaki literally say, like, yeah, I summon when I play the
Miyazaki,
game?
yeah, he admitted, he's like, I'm not good at these games. I just fucking make them. When I play, I use everything at my disposal. I use summons, I use the mimic tier, I use the strongest weapons, I upgrade my shit. It's like, he's playing the game as intended. And he's the guy that fucking made it.
Yeah, like you can't really get much more as intended than that.
Yeah.
If they didn't intend you to use something, they wouldn't put it in the game.
They wouldn't put it in the game. It literally is that simple. It's like, if you can do it in the game, then there's no reason why you shouldn't. If you want to, if you need that extra push or whatever. Because there's been, like, the craziest challenge runs in the world. Like, someone beat Dark Souls 1 with literal bananas. I'm not even joking.
Yeah. Where they had they had, like, the electrodes attached to them, so the tiny amount of human current that comes through from your touch counted as a button.
Yeah, so he would just be slapping on bananas.
Dude, just
to
slapping
beat
those
the
nanners
original
around.
Dark Souls. Yeah, he's just slapping his nanners. And he beat Dark Souls on bananas. It was crazy.
Well, I mean, he probably just beat Ornstein and Smo.
I was going for, like, he was jerking off his penis joke.
I was just gonna let that one lie. I saw it hanging there on the tree, but I decided not to pick that fruit.
I had to come back for it, though, to let the audience know.
It seemed kind of low-hanging. It seemed a little rotten on the branch. I didn't want to eat that one.
You didn't want to eat the big slapped nanner.
Oh, you've basically beaten Dark.
You've basically beaten... That's my philosophy, genuinely. Yeah. I think Dark Souls 1 is a great game up until Anor Londo, and then you beat Anor Londo, and you're like, okay, I'm done. I beat the game.
Well, a lot of the challenge runs, like, you know, beating it with the fucking Donkey Kongo bongos.
Yeah.
I
love the Donkey
They
Kongo
usually
one.
end at Ornstein and Smo, because they're just considering that, like, basically the final boss. It's the final boss of the good half of the game.
Literally, yeah. It's not.
I really like Dark Souls 1. It's still my favorite in the entire series. 2 is not better. 3 is not better. Bloodborne's not even better. Sekiro is not better. Never played Demon's Souls. Never played Elden Ring.
Now you're speaking pure nonsense.
I would say that Ornstein and Smo is basically the most challenging fair boss fight in the game.
Yes, and it's also at the end of the most challenging but fair environment of the game. Everything beyond that point,
and I have to qualify. I have to qualify it with the word fair because Bed of Chaos exists.
Well,
Yeah,
exactly. Everything
yeah.
after Anne Orlando is like, oh, this is where the game shows that the development cycle was rushed towards the end because holy fuck.
You know what's
Holy
crazy?
fuck.
Like, what are the 4 bosses that you need to kill after the Lord Vessel? There's Gravelord Nito, which is a...
Four Kings, Nito, Bed of Chaos,
and Seath.
And Seath.
Seath.
Yeah.
Right. So let's just recap real quick. Sorry, everybody. This is the Dark Souls podcast right now. I've got
Yeah,
some
we're
shit
talking
to
about
say.
Dark Souls this time.
I posit that among the 4,
like, second part of the game bosses,
The Lord Souls.
there is not one good fight among them.
No.
Gravelord Nito is like
They're all
a
very-
literal fuck you. We're just gonna put 90 skeletons in the arena.
Four Kings.
We're
is
also going to
DPS
require
rate.
you to take fall damage right before the boss fight starts.
Yeah, and there's fucking guys that shoot spells at you. There's little mini pinwheels. So Gravelord Nito is like that's just a fuck. You can go fuck yourself. Like that's
Four
dumb.
Kings is DPS
Nito himself isn't even a challenging fight.
No, it's
for
like
a
they
challenge.
knew they didn't design a hard enough boss for where they put him in the game, so they just
Yeah.
added 90 skeletons and spells.
Exactly.
Anyways,
He doesn't really do anything beyond like
Seath
3
is a
attacks.
Seath is just a gimmick.
Seath
is a pure
is a gimmick, but I would say that's probably the best of the 4 fights. I don't know. It's either that or 4 Kings, because it's fucking certainly
Well,
not Nito
no,
or
no.
Bed of Chaos.
No, no,
he's,
no. Four
he's a
Kings is
gimmick,
not
but
the
then you
worst.
actually have to
The
fight
best.
him. Unlike Bed of Chaos, which is just a gimmick.
Yes.
4 Kings is also a big gimmick. 4 Kings is
If we
like...
count the DLC though, Artorias is still a good fight.
Oh yeah,
Artorias
DLC.
fucking rules.
See, I separate. I always make this mistake when I'm talking about Dark Souls. I separate the DLC completely. Like that is its own entity in my mind.
Yeah, so when I first played Dark Souls 1, I, like, either had the DLC or didn't. No, because, yeah, I bought Prepare to Die Edition on the PC, but all I had back then was my laptop, and it just ran, like, at 4 frames a second, and I was like, there's no way, we can't play this. So I just
Yeah.
dropped it for years. And then Juan, my buddy in high school, eventually let me borrow his copy on the PS3. And I took that home and played that, didn't have the DLC on there. So I had it on the PC, but I couldn't. And then eventually, when I built my computer that I'm on now still, and I went back to go like replay Dark Souls 1, I was like, oh fuck yeah, there's a whole DLC chunk to this I've never played before. And I did Dark Souls Popcorn with these buddies that I had in the Super Bunny Hop Discord server. Dark Souls Popcorn was this: everyone makes a build, and you like write a little PDF file about explaining the build and what the build's supposed to be, and then you exchange save files every week. And so like we had like 8 people, and no one knew what each other's build was or what character you're gonna get week after week, but you get sent the save file and a PDF, and it would be like, you're playing as Schmibblob. He's a wizard, and he can't use any of these weapons. He has to wear this armor type. You can't take this ring off. No using this item. You know, it was like restrictions. My character's name was Grogus Stankton, and I was like, he's a caveman, and it was just a caveman type beat, you know?
Fuck yeah.
He was not allowed to wear any armor on his chest or head. He had to
I've
be...
I've done pure Unga Bunga caveman
Yeah.
Ornstein and Smo run because that's how I beat the game before.
But also a
I
stipulation
just
of
go down to the
Grogus.
swamp and get the Great Club and then go about my day.
A stipulation of Grogus is that he's not very smart and prone to fits of rage and doesn't know how to deal with people. So if an NPC or a shopkeep is rude or snide or snarky to you, you must beat the shit out of them. Because Grogus
I'm
is
glad
just
you
not
can
very
dictate-
emotionally intelligent.
Yeah, I'm glad you can dictate the RP aspect of the character as well.
Yeah, well,
That's
the
fun.
guy who made it, the guy who was in charge of the Dark Souls popcorn thing, was like, yeah, just do whatever. Like, there are no stipulations I'm giving you for what your character's rules have to be. And so I thought it would be funny to make people, like, pretend that they are actually a dumb caveman. And also, I said, like, he can't read or write, so you can't read or write any messages.
Yeah, read or write.
Yeah. Anyway, it was great. But yeah, Dark Souls Popcorn was a lot of fun, and that was actually the first time I played the DLC, because it was kind of split up into different areas, and like you would go through the beginning chunk of the game up until like let's say Taurus Demon, and then you would like save and send your save file back to him, and then everybody had to get done by the end of the week, and then it would like rotate. It would all switch around. So whatever character you played this week, you got them to the next checkpoint, saved the save file, sent it off, and then the next person will take the next chunk. So it was like a relay race. It was called Dark Souls Popcorn, and that shit was the first time I played the DLC. Didn't even know how to access it. Had to have somebody explain it to me. And I got there, and I was like, this is fucking amazing. Like, I'm crying tears of joy. Like, I didn't know there was more amazing content in my favorite Dark Souls game.
Accessing the Dark Souls 1 DLC might be the most cryptic shit they've ever put into a game. It is so completely unintuitive if you're not looking at a guide.
Yeah, it's dumb. But also, I think it might be one of those things where they're just kind of hoping that you come back later and see it. You know what I mean? Because you're probably going to go there and get the pendant at some point, you know? So they're hoping that you'll, like, come back and be like, hey, what the fuck is that over there in the distance?
I imagine they would expect you, because a lot of people have already beaten the games, and Dark Souls 1 immediately puts you into New Game Plus. After you beat the final boss, there's no option to go into it at your leisure. So I imagine they would think a lot of people would just start playing through a new save file and come across it by chance once you get to the Duke's Grand Archives and save Dusk from the Hydra and all that.
Yeah. I don't know. I watched a video about it recently, and it was like, how did people even ever figure this out? And the guy was like, I know we all like to say, how did people ever figure this out? But to be honest, it never needed figuring out. People knew on day one. There were pictures on the Japanese website released by Bandai Namco, like detailing how to access the DLC. So it was never like a thing the community had to work together and solve, unfortunately.
They weren't actually going to hide how to access the content that you paid extra for.
Yeah, and that's why it wasn't like the information was not in the game upon booting it up, and it was released like by the publisher and not by FromSoft. And I think it might have been an internal conflict between like, well, we would love for the vibe of our game to just squirrel this area away and have it be hidden as fuck, but the publisher does not want us to do that because then people will pay money for DLC they don't know how to access.
Oh, of course. I know that there is a split though, just based on the time period and people not wanting to be spoiled and trying to brute force their way through it. Especially because, I mean, that was circa 20... When did the DLC come out?
2011, Prepare to Die Edition came out.
2011,
so...
yeah, exactly. So not as, like, heavy on the spoiler DLC, you know, discussion culture, whatever you...
Yeah. We weren't like that yet, as a community.
Not quite yet.
We not like that. Yet.
Yet.
Alright.
Oh, but boy, it's coming, and it will get bad.
Alright. It's chapter time. I did some cool stuff this month, but it's like, I'll bring it up if it's relevant to a thing I have to say. I watched an episode of Columbo in Columbus, Ohio.
Hell yeah!
That was
Did he catch the guy?
Yeah. He was like, but the thing is, I don't know what phrase activates the thing. Only you do. You said it. I know you said it. Because it's right here. And he takes a tape recorder out of his pocket. And then he's explaining the tape recorder is attached to a secondary device. And when the device hears this thing, it triggers a signal that activates the thing. And the whole time, the guy is standing there like, yes, very clever, Lieutenant. But it doesn't matter. It was classic. I didn't catch the first like 40 minutes of the episode. Or how long is it? Is 30 minutes? I don't know. I didn't catch the whole first like 3 acts. I just catch the interrogation conclusion. But I was like, I can piece together what the rest of the episode was probably like.
So what I've heard is it's a very different experience if you miss the beginning of an episode of Columbo, because then you also don't know who the killer is.
Yeah, it's one of those shows that begins in media res. You get to see the killing happen and then cut to Columbo.
Okay. Oh yeah, and then there was a funny thing where while Columbo was doing this, he was sort of pacing around a pool table, and one of the pool sticks was like bent, like wow, like it was really incredibly bent to the side, and he picks it up while he's talking and tries to make a shot with it, but it's horribly bent, and so it just misses the cue ball entirely.
No, Columbo, no.
And then he kind of looks at his hands like, oh, I'm not good at that, and puts that down. It was great.
Oh,
It was
Columbo.
fantastic.
He's a great guy. He's a great character.
Oh,
I think
Columbo.
one episode is all it takes to see how he became such a beloved pop icon
Yeah.
of the pop culture.
And it's fun because he's dealing with somebody that he knows is definitely a killer and like a bad
A dangerous
person.
murderer, yeah.
But he's so playful and he's so like, I just figured this out. I didn't know what to do with this information. So I said, like he's so genuine. I don't know. Shout out
Yeah.
Peter Falk, ladies and gentlemen.
Shout out Peter Falk. R.I.P.
Peter Falk should play chess with George Carlin in heaven. I didn't process that
Yeah.
you said R.I.P.
I was gonna say, well, he's not going to be playing much of anything anytime soon, in our reality, that is.
Man, we live in the
Do you know
worst
he had a-
timeline. Everybody cool
Do you
is
know he had a
dead.
glass eye?
What?
He has a glass eye.
Well, I guess still has.
Well, has. And you can, if you're paying close attention to Columbo, you can see it. I think it's his right eye that it's technically missing. But it never moves.
That's
Always-
crazy.
Yeah.
Falk's right eye was surgically removed when he was 3 years old because of a retinoblastoma,
Mm-hmm.
or an artificial eye for most of his life. The artificial eye was the cause of his trademark
Of
squint.
Of his squint, yep. That's exactly
crazy.
why it came from that.
Wow.
Really interesting.
Oh
Mhm.
man. So there is there's a reference to it in the show. Apparently the character Columbo maybe also has a glass eye. In A Trace of Murder, when the killer suggests he and Columbo check out the crime scene together, our hero accepts, saying, 3 eyes are better than one.
3 eyes are better than one.
That's crazy. And then somebody else said, that'll explain why he never carries a gun and never wants to take his mandatory shooting classes.
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
Huh. Okay. Neat. Columbo, blind in one eye. Or what only has one eye to
Only
speak
has
of.
one eye.
One-eyed Columbo. Alright, well that was a nice miscellaneous bullshit quota. I think let's fucking talk about this chapter that came out last month. We've got 2 of them to get through.
We got 2 of them.
Alright, so on the cover we get this cool Jodio with the rain coming down around him. Where we left
I
off,
wonder.
end of last
Also-
chapter.
Oh,
This reference.
It's also like neat foreshadowing for the next chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess you're right, huh?
Oh my god.
The gift of
Because
future
that's
sight.
not rain; those are bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit.
Interesting.
That's funny. I didn't even catch that.
I wonder if that was intentional on Rocky's part.
This is one of the few benefits that we have of like missing a month of recording and then having to bundle the chapters together. Is like we get to catch stuff like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm curious now to take a fresh set of eyes. knowing
Fresh
what
set
we
of
know
peepers.
after. 3 sets of eyes. Three eyes are better than 1 eye, which I have 1 of.
I've got a couple. I don't have any to spare though.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened to Charming Man's eye, by the way? His
I
eyes
guess we'll.
coming out of his head and disintegrating.
Yeah, it's all gooey, but I'm pretty sure by the end of the chapter it's like fine again.
I'm getting really sick of Araki. I really am.
Eh,
Come on, man. Don't you care about your characters having injuries? Doesn't it matter to you? Because the
don't
thing
you want him
is,
to have a cool eye patch?
he can draw whatever he wants happening. And I'm like, oh no, my character is getting injured. But if they don't keep any of the injuries ever, then why do I care, you know? No one's ever really in danger.
One of
Characters
the
in
rare
JoJo
times-
take 2 kinds of damage. Mortal
Fatal.
damage that they
Yeah.
just shrug off anyway, and mortal damage that kills them.
that they don't.
What was the last time that a character took permanent damage? Was it
was
Kakyoin?
It was Rai.
Yeah, it was Mamazuka with his fingers.
He
Oh,
lost
right,
his fingers,
yeah.
Josuke
that
with
was
the
pretty
eye rock
good.
also.
but that wasn't permanent.
No, that washed off in the acid.
That
Well,
washed off
he
like 2
has.
seconds later.
Doesn't he have in the final chapter still like a little bit of rock particle on him?
Not on his face. He might have it going down his chest, but he doesn't have the eye ones anymore.
No, he totally does. In the final chapter, he has like a little bit of rock residue around his eye. Check it out. It's like a little bit of pebbles. It's there. You can see it.
No,
It's real.
no,
Yes, it's real. It's right here.
no, it's not.
Do you want
Not
me to
looking.
send you the fucking?
No, I'm not gonna look at it.
Zoe going full Cisco. It's real.
It's real.
All right, I'm showing the viewers. They can fucking see what I'm talking about, and it's not just
Viewers-
this page either.
Viewers can't see shit.
It's also over here and a little bit over here. It's very
No.
subtle, but it is there.
I refuse.
Daga Kotowaru.
Yeah.
All right. So the lava rock is in the vehicle with the peeps, and we're zooming away. The automatic pursuit stands. The land owned by Howler Co. The original copies of the deeds. I love the detailed close-up drawing of the back of Dragona's brooch and the fucking lava rock in it. Looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like the texture of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, we commented on every chapter, but goddamn, it does Araki pop off with his art in every JoJoLands chapter now.
It's crazy. I like when he draws objects in incredible detail. He's really good at texture. You feel like you know how it feels. All right. So who is the enemy? When did it attack us from the enemy's perspective? They saw us looking at the deeds. They don't know who we are. Okay.
I love
so Charming
tiny
Man's...
little ants in the book.
Yeah, it's pretty
They're
goofy
just
looking.
chilling. They're just waiting.
It reminds me of Killer Queen, actually.
Yeah, it
Like
it
the dust.
totally does. Peeking out from behind the page.
Mm-hmm. This one on the right that sort of has its like hands crossed underneath its chin is so cute.
Yeah, I love these little guys.
It's adorable. It's like
And because last episode we were late to get that out, it's called Bag's Groove and not My Chemical Romance.
Not My Chemical Romance. It's Bag's Groove.
Araki didn't have time to watch the episode before he had to write this chapter.
Yeah, maybe we'll say something here that inspires him in the future.
perhaps. But yeah, so Charming Man's eye is getting melted out of his head. He's going Peter Falk mode over here.
A little bit. Except it's not gonna be permanent.
A tumor. Can't pursue it any longer. I lost track of the enemy. It has
Like
no
his
power.
his face looks so fucked up. Why isn't that not permanent damage?
I don't know,
It looks
man.
so like melty and gooey and squishy. Like his eye wouldn't even have a socket to return to if it could.
His
just
orbital
have to-
floor is literally dripping out of his head.
Yeah, he
There's
would just
nothing
have to
for the eye
like
to sit on.
carry his eyeball around.
Gross.
Now Usagi's bleeding out of his own eye. It's a bad time.
The thing is, like, even if Araki were into permanently damaging his characters, this is too early in the
It is
part
a
to be
It is a bit
sustaining
early.
permanent injuries.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I don't know.
but it is a different part though, and it's doing a lot of its own different things. Like we started this under completely circumstance. We've mentioned that before. That usually the gang has to assemble. There has to be an inciting incident and all this stuff. But they already have their stands awakened. They're already have a preset motive. They've already been doing their own thing. They
Yeah.
clearly know a thing or two about stands and
It's-
the risks that they pose.
It's kind of like instead of like starting with Giorno and then having Giorno interact with Booch Arati. I'm just gonna call him Booch from now on. Giorno
Booch.
meets Booch and joins up with the gang and then kind of gets introduced to here's the gang. It's kind of like if we just opened on the gang.
Yeah. We got one new member to start with.
And he's not even really acting as like an audience POV character, you know? He's just another weirdo.
No,
Oh,
Usagi,
man.
yeah, it's
I
just another
just
freak.
realized if you take part 5 from Bucciarati's perspective, Giorno is the Usagi of the gang.
Oh
Literally.
my god, yeah, no.
Yeah, he
You're
kind
right.
of is.
He is.
Just the weird shit kid that shows up and inserts himself into the group.
And I mean, Usagi's a little bit more like, I don't know, outwardly goofy, but Giorno is also like a piss-drinking, frog-creating,
Ear
what if we
folding.
steal 100 cars instead of stealing one car, ear-folding.
I want to kill the head of this organization that nobody knows if he even exists or what he looks like or anything about him.
My point is, from their perspective, Giorno is also a goofy weirdo who's saying things that don't make any fucking sense.
Yes. Absolutely.
Alright, oh, sorry.
Bless you.
We're getting away from the land registry. They got Dragona too. It's already in Dragona's body. He's not breathing at all now. Okay.
No.
Alright. Just go ahead and him Dragona then, why don't you? Whatever. Jodio probably knows best. It's probably okay to do that if Jodio's doing it.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
would
know.
say Jodio probably has a pass.
He's got the pass. He's got the him pass.
I do wonder if Araki is going to release a statement or make it apparent during the course of the JOJOLands.
Yeah, I actually made a bet with Chris while I was at Saguaro Man that there was going to be an explicit statement in the narrative about what's going on with Dragona.
I am
gender-wise.
curious. Yeah, because Dragona has never explicitly referred to themselves by any gendered terms, as far as I'm aware.
Indeed.
So I wonder if there's going to be a moment where that happens, where they're like, I am Josuke Higashi Gatada da tapatada da moment.
Josuke Higashi
I fumbled Higashikata so bad, and I just decided to keep fumbling it until I reached a logical conclusion.
That almost just became a sick beat, though.
It almost did. Maybe we can remix it. The Locacacast will bop.
Okay, yeah. I'll remix it. I'll take what we did here and I'll Hey, wait, someone say something? Okay.
Chris
Sorry.
started to say something.
I thought my
Josuke Higashi Noko Oshitan.
Jugemu, I don't know the rest.
Juga booka booka.
Alright. So yeah, I made a bet with Chris that we would get something, but also like I don't know. I think I'm just
You have a more
I have a thing
personal-
about it. I want
Yeah.
Dragona to turn out. I don't know. I want that to be something that we get attention on in the narrative at some point. We'll come back to this in a couple years if we get it or if the part ends without us getting it. I don't know. I'm biased. I have a dog in this race. Whatever.
You got skin in the game.
Yeah. I sort of made this bet with Chris before I realized I had a skin in the game and a dog in a race.
A place of passion.
A place of pathos is what I thought you were going to say.
A plathos of peso.
Oh,
Oh shit. Oh god, it's bad. It's getting bad.
all right. Well, moving on. Dragona, it's got the thing in there. Da da da. Usagi's
Bags
fucking
grooving in there.
dying, and then Paco has a really funny line here where he's
Dude,
still in the
Usagi
front.
is dying so hard. It's crazy.
Paco is still in the front driving the car, and he says, "All of you? You're kidding me, right?" Like, he's kind of powerless to help. He's just trying to drive away as fast as possible, and he's
Yeah.
like, "That sounds like a party wipe back there. We better not getting full team wiped."
Paco's locked in.
Paco's locked the fuck
He has
in.
no other choice. He's the driver. There's no two ways about it.
He's like, "Jodio, everyone's sounding pretty dead back there.
Jodio, why are you not saving everyone?
My stand doesn't heal people, Paco. It makes stuff rain. It makes
just
heavy
makes
rain."
It makes weird rain.
All right. Usagi's dying super hard. The
He's
stand
really
is an automatic pursuit type. The user isn't giving it direct orders, must follow set rules on how its attack works. This is something else I'm sick of about Araki. This fucking thing he does where he just has characters intuit correct information. Like, I get it. He should be able to get this, but like...
But
it's
also...
like, it's weird because he's doing it like a person who's read JoJo. Like, did he go to stand college? And he got, like, taught, here are the 3 different types. Here's how to identify them.
Something that I kind of wish... Because I've been thinking about this between these chapters, is that, I do wish there was more of a solid world-building aspect to JoJo. Like, how commonly known are stands, and the fact that ghosts and vampires and the supernatural shit totally exists? Because it never comes up in, like, casual conversation in JoJo. It only ever happens to the stand users we follow in the story.
The problem is, if Jodio doesn't intuit this correctly, how would he figure this out?
Yeah. Well,
there's no way to figure this out with the information that he has, but the plot requires him to do it.
Yes, you're exactly right, and that is what I'm complaining about. He doesn't have the information to figure this out, but the plot requires him to figure it out, so he's gonna. But he's doing it like a person who's seen JoJo. You know what I mean? Like, it's like he's seen parts 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and he's like knows what the types of stands are.
You might as well ask why everybody knows to call them stands.
Yeah, I guess so. At a certain point, I'm just poking holes.
Because this, I'm more inclined to believe at the very least, because they are established stand users, they would probably understand the rules. It's not as egregious to me as Giorno remembering that he read about mushrooms that that Green Day uses to attack people with.
And like, to be fair, early on, Araki did give a shit about like the consistency of the world. Like, you know, like Jotaro had a stand before he knew what stands were, and he called it an evil spirit. Gira, I believe, just called his killer queen an ability before he was introduced to the concept of other stand users.
Yeah, before he knew other people had things like that.
You know, there was always, like, in the original universe, there was always one character who existed to explain the concept of stands to other characters until they phase that out.
And that's what I want. I want now someone to just pull out their phone and go to r/stand users or something. And they're like, hey, I just saw a guy like fly 15 feet through the air and he was suddenly riddled with holes. What's that about? Is there something to this?
The idea that like the punch ghosts would have an in-universe subreddit.
Well, they totally, like, in my mind's eye, they totally would. That would be a thing that's in the public conscious by now. If we're in the year 2023 and dudes have got their phones and they're like recording any street brawl that just devolves into a stand fight, like, people are going to know. But it's something that never gets explored by JoJo. So I'm curious to see if that just happens or not.
I really, really, really want a, like, spin-off about the Speedwagon Foundation.
Oh, I would love that.
Our POV character is, like, a guy who works at the organization who, like, is relatively new to it and, like, knows there is some supernatural stuff going on, but has never, like, isn't a stand user, can't see them. And he, like, partners up with, like, an older guy who's been on the force, quote-unquote, for a long time. And he's like, oh, yeah, you can tell by this is definitely a stand. Normal bullets don't leave holes like this. I want, like, an NCIS Stand Cops spin-off.
JoJo Police Procedural.
Yes.
Yeah.
You remember I pitched this to you a long time ago.
Yes, I do remember this, yes.
Yeah.
That would be a great concept for a spin-off.
JoJo Police Procedural. And I'm thinking it's like NCIS. The beginning of the episode is always like, it's like Columbo, we see the inciting incident, or we, like, open on the body being found. And NCIS, at some point, there's got to be a moment where the regular cops are like, we just don't fucking know what to make of this at all. And there's the moment where somebody else comes in and flashes a badge and is like, this is under our jurisdiction now, we'll take it from here. And, like, they're the stand cops. They're the ones who deal with magic crime.
That would be so cool if he had, like, a Doctor Who kind of MacGuffin stand that just, like, he flashes his badge and it immediately just, if you look at the badge, you trust that this guy is a law official in whatever state,
Yeah, psychic paper.
province that he is in. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, right. That's kind of an aspect of it as well, where I want it to be a sort of Chainsaw Man thing, where you know how
Mhm.
the public safety division has devils working for them,
Yes.
devils and fiends and stuff, and like they have specifically got these devils because their powers are good at fighting other devils, you know what I mean? So they would have sought out stand users whose abilities are going to be helpful to the organization.
So the point of view character doesn't have a stand, but the mentor character has this single purpose utility stand that just gets him into
Extremely-
places.
Yes.
Right. And he can see stands because he has one and he has the utility thing, but he is not like a fighter. He doesn't have the ability to fight, which is why he's not like out here chasing down the criminals. He's out here like investigating the crime scene and trying to draw conclusions from it. And then there's probably like, if there's stand cops, there's a stand SWAT team. Like if there's a
No. What there should be is like you get one guest star stand user per season.
That would be cool.
Hmm.
They should have, no, what it should be is they have the stand user, the certified combat stand user is a police dog they have. That's their main
That would be
fighter,
neat.
is the stand dog.
What does the dog stand do?
It has a gun.
Okay. Good job. 10
It
out of
shoots
10.
It shoots a gun.
It's his gun dog.
It's gun dog.
Anyways, so JoJo police procedural, I think that would be great. First of all, like the investigating and tracking down of the evil stand user thing is something we already really like. That's some part 4 stuff for you. But then also, I'm interested in the world building of it. Like, how do these stand things that happen in public in front of people get covered up by the Speedwagon Foundation, you know?
You know what you might find interesting is early seasons of Gotham. It's basically
It used to be that. It used to be a police procedural just in Gotham.
yeah, basically. It followed a young Jim Gordon in the aftermath of the Wayne shootings.
Interesting. Yeah, I heard about it. I never knew what it was about, though.
Later seasons sort of devolved into like superhero villain of the week show. Plus crime drama around the Penguin and the Riddler and all that.
It had a really interesting setup to begin with, but yeah, just kind of.
Which
Yeah.
isn't inherently bad. I mean, I did enjoy where later seasons went. It just became a different show.
Yeah. I pitched my stand cops concept to Becky when I was hanging out with her last year, because I was watching a lot of NCIS, and that's why it spawned. And I was like, yeah, stand cops, da-ba-da-ba-da, and she doesn't watch JoJo, doesn't have any frame of reference for why, because it's JoJo, that makes it different and gives it its own unique flavor. So I pitched it, and she was like, that's just supernatural. And I was like, no, it's not!
I mean, it is kind of just supernatural.
Kind of.
But what I'm saying is JoJo is such a strong flavor to add to the broth. It
Yeah.
being JoJo flavored is necessarily going to make it quite different.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's a similar genre.
Yeah.
It's a very similar premise, yeah. Just the execution is it's all in the execution.
Oh, I have a great story idea I want to pitch to you guys real quick. So, due to superheroic or magical or supernatural circumstances, Earth is destroyed, but at the last moment, a wish was made on the 7 Chaos Emeralds or whatever to whisk everyone off of the Earth and place them one universe over in the Earth that is most like the one they came from. So Universe A's Earth is destroyed completely. And now Universe B's Earth, everyone got blipped right over there. So it's kind of the opposite of the snap. The population of the world doubled in a moment, in the blink of an eye.
What you're suggesting is a
That sounds
planet-wide.
apocalyptic.
This is a planet-wide isekai.
Yes.
Instead of it just being one person, it's every single person on Earth gets isekai'd.
Yes. So, like, in Dragon Ball, when they wish back the entire Earth, like, think about that amount of people.
Oh god.
But, like, they couldn't wish back the planet. They could only wish back the people. So everyone got, like, whisked away and poop and plopped on the other planet.
Right away, India is fucked.
Yep. So, my story concept is this. We follow the tale of this Universe B Earth that now has twice as many people on it as it's supposed to. And specifically, we focus on everyone who met themselves and what happened and how they got along. So, you know, we were riffing yesterday. I was telling Robin about this. My first idea is that this is going to be an anime, and in universe, one of our episodes is going to be about a guy who like is an animator, like he's an artist, and he meets himself. And they, like, team up and start working together. And then they find, like, the rest of their people. They gather up all of the doubles of the people they used to work with. And together they form the most powerful and efficient animation house in history. And in universe, that's who's making the show that you're watching right now.
That's awesome.
The other one that we fleshed out a little bit was the President of the United States of America. He is elected president in Universe A. And in Universe B, but when he gets to Universe B, it's like, well, they already have a me here who's president, so what the fuck am I supposed to do? And then he has, like, a quest for relevancy, like a soul searching, like he's down and out and on the streets and just, like, drinking too much, and he sees in the fucking TV in the window him living the life that he should have had. And he's like, why the fuck is this so unfair? Like, I did everything right. I was elected. I won. Why did I have to sit here in the gutter and watch myself live the life I should be having? And he decides to run against himself.
Against himself.
On a platform of radical ideas. He grows to hate everything he used to stand for. And he grows to view himself as, like, a hypocrite and an idiot. So he runs against himself, but on none of the same policies. Like, on completely the opposite of everything. All this radical stuff. And
this is a really interesting premise.
That is an incredible premise.
You like it? So then he's like, his support base is like a big groundswell of support. It's a very grassroots thing. There's a montage of him like giving speeches to progressively larger and larger crowds until it's one of those like, holy shit, this guy is a one-man army. He's single-handedly in charge of this whole cultural movement. He really could make it. He might do it. He might be the next president. And then he gets shot and killed in the street unceremoniously by an assassin. And, like, we had so much empathy for this guy, and I'm just gonna, like, and the music cuts, and he fucking dies. And
that
then
would be a really
President...
Cut to black and credits.
No,
Yeah,
President of Universe A, cut to black, cut back up. The next morning, President of Universe A wakes up and reads the paper and sees that this other him got shot and killed, and he feels relief because he doesn't have to worry about it anymore because he was really getting a lot of support and he probably wasn't going to run re-election against this guy. He feels relief, but he also feels horrible because he knows deep down in his heart that the stuff he's running on right now is not as good as this other stuff. The world would have been better with this guy. So he has to then look at himself dead in the street and be like, no, you know what? I'm going to carry on the torch for him. I need to be the best version of both of us for his sake and mine. And they kind of like merge their ideals into one man. But it's going to be a great episode.
Yeah, I was going to say this concept as a whole would just make for a great anthology.
Yes,
series.
it's an anthology. That's what I'm going for.
The one problem that I have is like you have to get past, like there's a healthy amount of suspension of disbelief
Right.
that you would have to address for like with like regard to things like supply chains and resources.
Well, the population of Earth doubled, so everyone's fucked. Like everyone's gonna die unless there's some world-building way we can figure out to explain that away.
Maybe if like it wasn't the whole population, but like, you know, just like what you said, like the world is ending, so like maybe like the population's already significantly reduced, and then only the people who are still there get moved over.
I was thinking about that, but then also, I really do want it to be like, one day life is normal, because when you're a normal person, a normal civilian living on Earth in Dragon Ball world, you don't know the world is ending until it just suddenly blows up. Like, you don't have hours of time to think about it. Well, no, I guess you do. If it's Cell fucking broadcasted it on TV.
Yeah,
People had a week to panic.
The world.
Well,
yeah.
Majin Buu,
well,
Babidi
otherwise-
fucking FaceTimed everyone on the planet and spoke directly into their mind.
Well,
So, yeah.
otherwise, there's like you could use that as like the source of like different episodes, like focusing on the people who would be put in charge of solving the crises that arise from sudden doubling of the population.
Yeah, no, that would be a good solid episode. Like, how are we gonna fucking deal with that? But I was kind of considering the thing you were saying a second ago. Like, it might be that this Earth was already fucked for a while and the population was dwindling. But also, I do want it to be, like, just one day, randomly, the Earth exploded. No one expected it to happen, but it did. So, I don't know. I like the idea that the population has already dwindled quite a bit. That way we can get around this, what do we do about India thing? Because otherwise, I kind of have to immediately plunge the world into chaos and civil war. You know what I mean? And I don't really want that. I want people to be living in like a normal Earth, but alongside somewhere out there is an exact duplicate of themselves.
There would for sure be multiple people who kill their alternate selves.
Yeah, I definitely. People are gonna kill their double. I want to have one episode with a champion prize fighter. He gets in the boxing ring and his opponent is himself. It's him standing across the ring from himself, and for the first time ever, he feels fear. He's beaten everyone with no sweat, but now he's scared because it's him.
I feel like I'd be able to.
To beat your own ass in a fight?
Yeah, because I would know exactly what I would do.
Yeah,
That
but
would
I
be
mean,
the
like, I would also be able to beat my own ass in a fight, but that's because I know I'm not a good fighter. I could beat someone who's as good at fighting as I am.
No, but I could beat myself. It would look like
Yeah, but the trick is you know your own weaknesses.
exactly.
Right, well, it would be like a battle where this guy has such supreme confidence in himself. He thinks he's the shit. He's like, boy, am I glad I never have to fight me. And then he does. But it's like any other battle against a seemingly impossible opponent. There's an uphill struggle, and suddenly you're like, wait a minute. I can make him bleed. I know his weaknesses. I can do this. So it'll be like that. And then one of them should probably die. One of them should probably, like, take a knockout punch and then crack his head open on the turnbuckle. The other one feels really bad.
They should both die.
Just double KO, double crack head open on the turnbuckle.
Now, this may come as a shock to some viewers, but I believe everyone involved in this story should die.
Should die. They
Yeah.
should be equally matched until the very end.
But yeah, that's my double Earth story. I like it. I want to do something with it someday. I think that'd be fun. Anyway,
I'm in this endeavor.
thanks for letting me pitch that. Sorry I wasted a bunch of time on that, but hey. Also, I think probably we should just get through this one chapter today.
Yeah.
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 Because I am gonna have to tap out.
Yeah. I also have work at 4, so I'm gonna need to go at like 3. So I've got like 2 hours remaining. We've used up 1. What time do you need to get out of here?
Me?
Yeah.
I said like 30 minutes.
From
So,
now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, sorry lads. I fucking didn't get started as soon as I wanted us to this morning. That was me.
No, that's okay.
We're waiting on
like
me.
I said, I also fumbled my time thing. I didn't consider
Yeah.
the
All right. Well, that's okay. We can fucking come back tomorrow and do a little bit more stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone's fucking dying. Jodio is yelling at Dragona to do stuff with smooth operators, and Dragona is just non-responsive. Use the smooth operators to drag it out of your lungs. I'm sure you can hear me. Give me a signal. Find it. Big bro. Aha. Yes, okay. So that was the signal. Dragona's hand squeezed Jodio's. And then he was like, alright, November Rain, go. And this is so cool. He shoots exactly
I love
one
this
droplet down.
shot. Yeah.
It's incredible.
This is another.
What I was
don't
talking about with like I predicted earlier that they'd use November Rain to neutralize Bags groove.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like the Speedwagon, your Speedwagon idea. This is an entire crew of pretty much utility stand abilities. They don't have anything outright suited for combat except maybe November Rain and the Hustle. But even then, their primary functions are much more than.
Yo, your microphone keeps cutting out.
Uh-oh.
Maybe just get slightly
And
closer to it. I think it's a noise gate thing. I don't think it's an internet
That's
connection thing.
that's like been a thing since like part 7, where I think the philosophy was that Araki wanted stands to be like equipment, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, there were a lot of fucking equipment stands in part 7.
I prefer that kind of take on it, actually. I think we've seen enough big, epic, high in the sky stand battles with the punch ghosts. I think we've gotten our fill of those. I kind of like these more cerebral, strategic fights.
It's crazy how it took Araki 9 parts, well, I guess 6, to give a protagonist a stand that doesn't punch.
Yeah, honestly.
Fucking Star Platinum, Crazy Diamond, Gold Experience, Stone Free, Tusk Act 4.
What's funny is
Soft and Wet even.
What's funny is you said high in the sky, and Sky High is basically a utility stand.
It is, yeah.
It does one thing. It lets you control the rods.
A magical cryptid.
You know what power
Which is,
was
again,
really
yeah, just
fucking
another
cool?
random world-building thing he threw, and he's like, oh yeah, these cryptids totally exist. Moving on.
You know what's fucking an awesome stand power, and we just never talk about it? Catch the Rainbow.
I
part
was
7.
just talking to another JoJo friend about it. Catch the Rainbow is such a fucking cool stand.
It's so goddamn cool.
Catch the Rainbow, now that I think about it, is basically just a better version of Craftwork that's very specific to Rain.
Yeah.
But
Like,
just like
you just completely invincible, can do basically whatever you want as long as it's raining.
it's so fucking cool.
And it makes for a really tense fight.
Do you think Blackmore would be able to stand on November Rain?
I don't know, but I think if they ever make another JoJo fighting game and it's like 2v2, the Blackmore and Weather Report duo is going to be insane.
Yeah, shit. Well, they're not gonna put Blackmore in the game. That's not gonna
But
be a thing. It's like
but
putting
they
Daya Higashikata in the game.
They'd have to make it rain in every stage when he appears.
Well, as sick as that would be.
Then do it.
You know what, man?
Don't
We don't need these fucking 3D JoJo games. We just don't. What we need is heritage for the future too.
Exactly. That's all we need.
And like,
But
just
Zoe,
yeah.
fighting games don't make money.
Oh,
true.
tell that to Capcom, you big dork,
You big dunkus.
you big dingus. Well, I don't know,
Big
man.
dork.
I mean, people are complaining about Street Fighter 6 right now.
Arena paddlers are piss easy to make, though.
Yeah, I get it, but like literally just make heritage for the future again in a modern engine. Not a modern engine, but like it can run on modern shit, you know? It's not like emulated, like you've decomped it and remade it.
Yeah.
Do that, and then fucking, or you know what? No, because if we're gonna add new shit, we can't have the same old sprites because then it's not gonna match. Okay, new hand-drawn art, Heritage for the Future remake. No,
They're
because
not
that shit
gonna
is
do
too
hand-drawn
good.
art. They are not going to do hand-drawn art.
Okay, well,
for
if
a
I'm
fighting
wishing on the
game.
Dragon Balls, here's what I'm wishing for. Arxis JoJo game, hand-drawn art, and it's gonna get a new, like, DLC package every, like, couple months. And it's gonna start out all the fucking Part 3 characters, and then we'll get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And they'll just keep adding to it.
I think they should have, like, a mix of different parts right away.
I feel like that would be the old wisdom. That's the old way to do it. That's how it used to make sense. But nowadays, like,
Kids love DLC.
No, but it's the type of thing where you can generate a new wave of excitement for your game months after release by being like, and then here's the Part 4 update. And then that gives people the idea that like, oh, I'll stick around for the next one then too.
It's like you're not gonna have like a full viable cast of Part 3 characters. It's like, oh man, I can't wait to play as Alessi on day one.
Well,
You've
yeah,
got
that's
all
the
the
other.
Stardust Crusaders and Dio. The game could literally just launch with those 6 characters, and they could add more.
That's the other
That's
problem you face.
That's a pretty pathetic fighting game roster.
Yeah,
I
that's the
know,
other
but
problem
it's
you
not.
face.
It's Smash Bros. It's trying to be like a JoJo Stardust shooters. It's gonna get
Even
monthly updates.
Skullgirls, I think, launched with 8 characters.
Fuck Skullgirls. I don't fucking. All right. I don't know. Whatever.
Anyway,
I'm never gonna get what I want. It's not profitable.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's I didn't mean to crush your dreams.
No, man. I mean, just like we're just never gonna get anything that's not a shitty 3D arena fighter. And I mean, they made a All-Star Battle remake, but like,
I have a crazy thing that I want that will never happen for JoJo for a JoJo game. I want a completely unique story to be told in the JoJo world, not tied to any part.
oh,
Like, just
okay.
Make JoJo
about
make JoJo
Rise
Part
of
10 or like a spin-off or like a whatever,
Wow.
but have it be a game. Like how they do all the little like spin-off novels and the light novels and shit. Do one of those but in video game form. There's no Jotaros, there's Giornos, there's no characters we know, just a completely original story.
JoJo Heritage for the Future Third Strike?
Yeah. Exactly.
Hey, so
It doesn't even have to be a fighting game. It could just be like an RPG action game where you fight stand users.
fuck, I was gonna say something from a second ago. Shit, what was it? We want a video game. Oh, so do you think so? Like, Araki has said, you know, he wants to retire at like 65 or whatever. He's like older than that now, right?
Yeah. I 100% think Part 9 is the final part, one way or another.
Yeah, he's 64.
Yeah. I think 9 is where he taps out. And I completely understand and accept that.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit ahead of this chapter, but based on the appearance of the new villain, I assume that we're getting like a Part 5, Part 6 amalgam slash...
Yes, exactly. Like we're going straight for the finish line.
Where do we even go with a hypothetical Part 10?
I don't think you could go anywhere, honestly.
Yeah, to be honest, like, if you were to do anything after Part 9, you're like starting a whole new cycle. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Cycle 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cycle 2 is the Renaissance. 7 is 1, 2. 8 is 3, 4.
And
this has got to be 5, 6. And then that brings us all the way back to the end of what we're renaissancing. So like that makes us have gone all the way around the loop.
And if we were to do Part 10 that's not like, you know, you wouldn't want it to be another Part 1 remake.
No. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It would have
we
to
would
be
go around the cycle again.
Completely new.
I think even the name JOJOLands has a sense of finality to it that to me means we're just going to connect this all.
This is
Maybe
where
not connect,
JoJo lands.
Yeah, this is where JoJo lands. Like, we've been across the JoJo verse. This is the end. This is the JoJo lands, this finish line.
Yeah.
I feel like there's going to be some grand departure at the end, just kind of farewell to the series.
We were joking, but when it was announced that it was JOJOLands, we were like, the JoJo has been flying, and now the JoJo will land.
Now the JoJo lands.
Now the JoJo
the
lands.
End of the end of the roundabout path.
I mean, I was joking at the time, but now it actually sounds kind of feasible to me that it's lands as in locations, like the land of. But it's also it's also like JoJo sticks the landing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The dismount.
And if you really, really think about it, in terms of Araki's age, I say it all the time. JoJolian was being written for literally a decade.
Yeah.
There is no way he's expending 20 years plus writing a part 10 or anything beyond this. I just don't see that happening. I think and that's why I think the pacing and action and dynamic of this part is so different. I don't think he's trying to rush things per se, but I do think he's like, oh, we've got to be concise about this. We've got to get pieces on the board. I want to tell the story I want to tell. I don't want to sacrifice any of that. But I do kind of want to see this thing to...
I think Araki probably realizes that part 8 was way too long and
Yes.
wants to make part 9 shorter.
Yes.
I kind of fucking
100%.
hope so.
I
really
also
do.
kind of hope so. I hope it has an easier trajectory to follow, too, without as much pain and suffering as we had to endure reading part 8 in real time.
Well, like, it wasn't pain and suffering until, like, the last chapter.
Yeah, exactly. Right when it starts to just fumble the landing and then everything...
That's
So
what I
you're
was going
like,
to say
oh.
a second ago when I said
Oh.
JoJo sticks the landing. It's the dismount. I suddenly put the fear of God in myself because I was like, wait,
What if
this
it
guy doesn't know how to stick a landing to save his fucking life.
Yeah. What if JoJo ends and it's bad? It's the same fear of like any long-standing, long-running piece of media. It's like, oh, we've been going for 30 years. What if the ending sucks? It doesn't
Yeah.
matter how good everything leading up to it was. You're gonna
That's
remember
why-
the beginning, the parts in the middle that you like, and the ending.
That's why shit like Detective Conan is still running. Because it's like, there's 1,000 episodes. We don't even want to end it. We just want it to keep going forever.
Or something like Lupin, where you can
I
just
think-
make
I
a new
think that
series,
also-
a new anthology.
I think that's also another reason why he might want to be a little more concise with part 9, because like the less time is invested in it, the lower the risk associated with a bad ending.
Yeah, if he just tells a
Uh.
neat, like, self-contained story and then just kind of brushes his hands of it, I can accept that. 'Cause
I
at
don't.
this
saying-
point,
I'm not
at this point,
saying
I don't
that
know
that-
how I
that-
would want JoJo to end. Is the thing.
I'm not saying that part 9 will end badly or might end badly, or even that it won't hurt if part 9 ends badly. I'm just saying that it won't hurt as much if it doesn't take a decade for us to get there, and it's not if it's solid the whole time and then botches the landing, it'll hurt less if it's shorter.
Yeah.
I must disagree. I don't think there's any way that it's going to hurt less due to being shorter because it's the last part. It's going to conclude 30 years of manga regardless. Even if this part was only 4 years long, it is
Yeah, there's
still
still
the
a
final
lot there,
word in a
but, yeah.
30-year story. So it's a lot of pressure.
And
But looking at it as an individual part rather than the culmination
and
of
it's
everything that came before.
Yeah, and it's strange because if it's so analogous to parts 5 and 6, part 6 is definitively the ending of JoJo Prime.
Mm-hmm.
We have an ending. Everything from 7 onwards is technically just a reboot. It has no real correlation to the original
I like to call
timeline,
it the
but
Renaissance
it still
instead of the
carries
reboot.
that. Yeah, it still carries that legacy and that title. It still got the DNA at its core. So I don't. It is a very interesting situation, to say the least, because nothing has ever gone through something like that, where the reboot is still technically part of it, but not. So there's a lot of weird elements. There's a lot of moving parts. Very dicey in terms of how he wants to end.
Yeah, I don't know. We just gotta hope for the best. I only trust Araki to be Araki. You know what I mean? I can't ask stuff of him that I
That's
know
out of
I'm not
his,
gonna get. You know?
Yeah,
like,
that's out of his character.
right. I can only expect him to be himself and continue to do what he's always done. You know? So I will remain cautiously optimistic. I will have faith. But I'm telling you right now, if the ending to JoJo Part 9 is disappointing, I am getting this tattoo removed. I'm getting my Joestar birthmark covered up with something. I'm putting something else over it.
Yeah, that's completely fair. I do think either way, a bad ending would leave a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Not to mention 2 bad endings in a row.
Yeah, no, it would. And it's funny
'Cause it
because
was
when I got
always-
this star, Justin said to me, it's funny when you get a tattoo of something that's like pop culture and other people know about it, it's almost like it's like investing in a stock. Like the coolness points of that tattoo can go up or down. You know what I mean? Like, what if tomorrow it's revealed that Hirohiko Araki is like a secret horrible pedophile? Then it's a horrible tattoo. Then it's the worst thing ever.
Oh god! Oh
So
no!
he was like, "You better be careful. You know, that's like stocks. It's gonna go up and down in points." And
Man,
I'm just saying, if the market,
imagine people who got a Game of Thrones tattoo now.
yeah, fuck. Imagine, you know that person who got the Straw Hat Crew, but they got what's her name in it? Yamato.
Oh man, yeah, yeah. That one hurts me still. That's a whole thing. Like it was so, I don't know. It was so choreographed.
Hang on. Let's not get in the weeds here. I might actually catch up to that eventually.
Yeah.
Well, suffice to say, the fan base was split. They thought a character was joining the Straw Hat Crew, and half of the people were like, "Yay, I love this new character," and the other half of the people were like, "What the fuck is this? This is dumb." And yeah, basically that was it.
Mostly because they lacked reading comprehension and were also transphobic.
Yeah, people are dumb. Next.
I was worried we were getting into spoiler territory. Okay.
No.
Just
really just discussing a reaction by the audience.
Yeah, broad strokes. Not nothing anything heinously controversial. Just media.
Got it.
Right. Back to the motherfucking chapter. Let's make a little bit of progress. We've been on this page for a while.
We have.
I don't have the video pulled up. I need that video pulled back up. I don't have it. I just have the graphic. Sorry, Mac the Salami.
Mac the Salami.
All right. So we're inside Dragona's mouth, and we're chasing down the sperm-looking droplet of rain.
Mm-mm.
And it gets there.
Please don't compare it to sperm.
Well, look at it. It's got a tail.
It came from her brother.
Hey, I was gonna say they're related. Wait a minute.
No, but look at it. It's got a tail.
No, I know, but
I'm not allowed to make observations on the shapes of objects.
I'm not saying that
make
you're
observations
wrong.
on the shape of objects.
Look, I'm just right. So the rain bullet hits the stand, and it gets fucking donutted, which is very cool looking. And then it's kind of horrifying. The smooth operators are like quartering it. They're like pulling it apart.
Yeah. Fucking Frost. But finally an opponent evenly matched for smooth operators.
But also, why
this
is
may be the only stand fight that smooth operators correctly.
But also, like, why is it that smooth operators is able to touch this thing without negative circumstances? Because, like, as soon as
it's already in her body.
Yeah, I guess so.
I suppose.
Okay.
That is, yeah. I guess stand on stand has never really affected things.
No, but Charming Man got sick when he
because his eyeball.
The one. Yeah. Wait, he grabbed the one in Usagi.
But he grabbed it with his own. Stand is like an extension of his own body. Physically.
But it was also the bag's groove that was inside of Usagi, not inside of Charming Man. It was her stand that touched it, not.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So it couldn't spread the infection because it was already there.
She's not gonna get more cancer.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so Usagi's like, you saved Pink-chan, do mine too, get it out of me. Usagi, I lost track of it in the arteries leading towards the brain. It disappeared on its way up from the heart. It's probably somewhere up there. Human body's a labyrinth. We don't know where it is anymore. There's blood coming out of my eye. Dragona offers to find it. The user should be showing up soon. We need to defeat them before that happens. I prefer they didn't find out our identities or anything about the lava rock. Paco, head to a hospital. The bigger the better, one that looks like it has an MRI. Da-da-da-da.
The hospital they land in is actually located in Texas, as someone pointed out.
What?
Yeah, this
shit.
hospital, architecturally speaking, is almost identical to a hospital in Texas.
That reminds me of like original Power Rangers, their command center. It's actually like it's a Jewish library in I think California,
Oh,
but
that's-
the desert is somewhere else.
aha.
Are we sure this is just like a similar building? Because this looks like another one of those photos that Iraqi took and just kind of like digitally traced over.
Well, that's what the theory is took the picture of this hospital from Texas and traced it over and said it belongs in Hawaii.
It belongs in a museum.
Belongs in a museum.
So do you.
That's one way to get around legal issues.
And there you go, yeah.
But I wonder, like, are there palm trees in front of the one in Texas? I don't remember there being palm trees in Texas when I lived there.
No, the palm trees were probably added.
Yeah, but the building itself, I mean,
Well, it looks great.
I wish I could go back a month in time to find the post that said that.
Ah, it's all right. I'll find it. I'll probably look it up in between this one and when we record the next one.
Yeah.
Or not the next one, but the other half of this. Big machine, who's going to operate it? What about health insurance and stuff? We'll do it ourselves. All you have to do is operate a computer. Use the
What
stand.
about health insurance and stuff?
What about health insurance? Oh man.
Switch out the
Sure,
cameras
it really
along
is
the road
America.
with fake videos. But doesn't that mean the Mate Kudasai has to individually go over there and hop up into each camera?
Camera to camera,
Yeah,
yeah.
don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Ignore
It's
that,
fine.
ignore that, ignore that, ignore that.
You
Love
mean
that.
this? You mean Mate Kudasai?
All right. Yo, the fake Dragona that the camera made up? She bad as hell.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway.
And introducing perhaps my new favorite JoJo antagonist duo,
Bobby Jean and Baby Boy. Baby Girl.
Baby Lulu. I
Um,
fucking love these two. On that note,
Look
I
at
do
the
have to
wait.
return
Look
to
at
my
the
home
look at
planet.
the. Is it time
Fuck.
already?
All right. Well, we got
All
through half of the first chapter. Why do I
That's
always
not bad.
estimate our abilities so highly and then fall so far short of them?
I know, I was like, it's not a long chapter. We can get through this. Oh no.
Fuck. It is a long chapter.
All right.
It's 42 pages.
It is long, I
So
forget.
we'll see you in a minute. It'll be a day for us. Casey's got to go back to his home planet.
Hey, have a safe trip there. Try not to die on the way back.
I have to go. My people need me.
And we're back.
And
return.
We're back.
In the
Sadly,
time,
we lost a real one.
in the
He died
time
on his way
between
back
those,
to his home planet.
in the time between those two slide whistles, Casey was tragically killed on en route to his home planet, and rip. He will forever be among the stars. It's funny. I'm looking at the OBS window right now. I'm looking at what we're capturing. It looks so lonely up here in this little box with only 2 Discord icons.
Yeah.
It looks so
It's
lonely.
It's built for 3.
Oh, it is. It was built for 3. 3 is a magic number. Now we're back to the gruesome twosome, the duology,
Back to the classic
the dynamic duo,
classic team.
Merc and Zork. Merc and Z. Hey, just a quick joke that I have for you. Can you believe that the one of the two of us whose Sona is not a girl is the one who's, like, going through gender fuckery? Can you believe,
Yeah.
like, of the two of our little Josuke Sonas, like... I just think that's funny.
It's kind of weird, yeah.
It is a little weird. I maybe, I don't know. I don't necessarily need to get that, like, redesigned or changed, because it's not me. It's Mega Man Volnut from Mega Man Legends. But,
Yeah, you know.
I don't know. I
We
just
can
think that's
figure that
funny. You're the one with the Femme Josuke Sona, and here I am. I should have just made one also. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, we are continuing from where we were.
Indeed.
This agent Bobby Jean is looking at these camera feeds, and so what I wanted to say was the fake Usagi, the one in front here,
Mm-hmm.
actually kind of looks like a cross between Jotaro and Narancia.
Yeah, he does have like the crazy Jotaro hat hair. Like, how the fuck does that work? Is that a visor? Or is it a hat? Like, it really is doing the Jotaro thing. Yeah, I like these alt designs that we're seeing for these characters. Is that supposed to be Paco on the left there? Or Charming Man? That's Charming Man.
That's Charming Man. You could tell because it looks like Charming Man.
Well, yeah, no. The whole point is that it doesn't look like him, but yeah, it does look like
but
him.
It does kind of.
Yeah. Well, the freaking
More
Narancia...
so than Jotaro Narancia hybrid here, and
I could hear the gears turning in your mind, trying to come up with some funny thing to refer to them as.
I couldn't.
I came up with. I was gonna say while you were doing that, I was gonna say looks more like Charming Man than fucking Narancia Cujo over here.
Oh yeah, I should have let you say that. My bad.
I had that like locked and loaded in the chamber, but unable to fire it. Speaking of firing...
I'm just bumblefucking over my own words here. And you had one ready to go.
Speaking of things being in the chamber and then fired and locked and loaded and then unloaded, in the time between those two slide whistles, this is breaking news as of the last half hour, so you have an idea of when we're recording this, no more Joseph Robinette Biden running for president this year. He just said, nope. Which is crazy, because I've this whole time been like, man, this is gonna suck. You know, we got these two old fucks, and now things are like, holy shit, where are we gonna go? So the world seems alive with possibility right now in this moment.
I'm just hoping whoever they put up can get the votes, because we can't do 4 more years of Trump, man.
Oh God, I don't want. You know what's insane is this seems like a crazy thing to say to most people, but like, can we just have somebody in charge who's not 65 plus? Can we? What's the youngest age that you can run for president?
Can we just get any decent candidate at all?
Can we get somebody who is in any way looking out for my interests in the slightest? Can we get somebody at all who's going to be anything good? You know? It's like, can we... you could put like a duck in that chair and it would probably be fine. You know, the positive decisions ratio would be about the same. What is that? Isn't there like a scientific concept for that? Like, if your experiments results can be adequately reproduced just by doing random shit, then like you did your experiment wrong.
It's statistical significance.
Yes, thank you, Chris.
What you look for is a specific range of p-values, and that basically tells you whether what you did, like the chance that you would get those same results randomly.
Right. Your margin of error, or what you're considering a significant bit of statistics rather than negligible statistics. Cool. I'm glad. I knew you would fucking know what that was called. Okay.
Yeah, I was a math major here. I took statistics.
I remember you have done some higher education that I have not. I was really hoping that you would know. I guessed correctly. I knew you were smart enough. I knew you would know what it was called. I knew the concept, but I never went to school like that. Anyways, back to the chapter time. Okay, so we've got Narancia Cujo, Mitsuba Joestar, and
just Charming Man.
Yeah, just Charming Man, but without the makeup. He's just used a makeup remover wipe.
I like how it feels like a Rocky drew these two and then just said, fuck it.
Yeah, these two feel like they've got a lot more effort like put into them. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I wonder why. Like, Narancia's got like a piercing under his eye and shit. Crazy. Hey, you know what would be cool? What if the Mate Kudasai isn't just making bad security footage? What if it's opening a portal to the next universe over? And this
Oh,
is just
man.
what everyone looks like there. Also,
That's
I'm getting a little bit annoyed with how often the Mate Kudasai is used to just change security camera footage. It kind of feels like his stand just changes security camera footage now. Like, if we're gonna do that every time.
I think that was like a one-time thing, and then Araki decided he really liked doing it.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets to draw slightly goofy versions.
Well, he gets to draw more character designs that he wasn't going to use otherwise. So
True.
it's like why not?
True. Very true. Yeah, so then those three just went home without doing anything. They didn't even take any photos. They just looked at it. That's it. Yep, they were just visiting it for a tour. They were students studying the history of Hawaii or some such thing. Students. So, Agent Bobby Jean, what sort of investigation are you doing today? The alleged improprieties regarding Howler Co's land. Alright, before we move on or talk about anything that was just said, I think we should start a new Locacacast tradition right now. Are you ready? Here it is. We keep doing the thing I was doing when I was talking about like the AI voice dub that I wanted to do, where we do like a fan casting of all of the roles in the comic. So when a new character shows up,
I know where you're going with this, and my answer for Bobby Jean is Sean Connery.
Hey, that's a great pick. I like that. That's a good one. Sean Connery makes perfect sense for this fucking guy. I mean, look at him. I was gonna say...
Oh, then, these three just went home without doing anything. They didn't even take any photos.
They just looked at the land deeds. That's it. I can't do a good Sean Connery.
Students.
What's your favorite...
This security guard that he's talking to, if you removed his beard, he would look just like Toru.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's got that sort of like... that sort of disaffected, sullen, slumped Toru-ness to him.
He's also got like sort of like a similar hair.
Yeah. It's like if Toru got older and cut his hair a little bit. Well, unfortunately, he doesn't really have the chance to get older. A, due to being dead, but B, due to being rock human.
Yeah. Sorry, you were asking.
What's your favorite Sean Connery role, which is not James Bond?
Probably The Rock.
Oh, I haven't even seen that. All right, I'll add that to my
hang on.
list.
Let me get the classic quote, and I'll do my best Sean Connery impression.
Okay. For Bobby Jean, I was kind of thinking somebody a little bit more Western, a little bit more twangy, maybe, like a sort of like a what the hell is that guy's name?
Okay, so there's a scene in the movie.
I was thinking maybe
where,
like Sam Elliott.
No, there's a scene in the movie The Rock where the lead character played by Nicolas Cage says to Sean Connery's character, "I did my best," and then Sean Connery's reply was, "Your best? Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen."
What? What year is this movie from?
It's like 1999, I think.
Yeah, that's edgy late 90s. We're gonna have Sean Connery say fuck the prom queen in the movie.
1996.
Still.
Yeah.
It's in a world that has Nirvana. Anyway, I was thinking somebody maybe a little bit more like Western, a little bit of a twang, perhaps. So I was giving him Sam Elliott as my casting.
Ah, Sam Elliott.
Just the mustache, really, and the shape of his face. He's a little Sam Elliott-y. Although his hat.
Give us your best Sam Elliott with one of Bobby Jean's lines here.
Oh man! All right. Well, Sam Elliott. I've only really seen him in The Big Lebowski, and he's like, every once in a while, there's a man for his place and time, and he's the dude. They just looked at the land deeds, and that's it. I can't do it. He's a lot deeper. And also, that's not even the direction I want to be taking my voice. Although,
okay, yeah.
voice training is
Fair
funny
enough.
already because, like, I've already been doing silly voices for the entirety of my life. And I did a thing in, like, 11th grade where me and my best friend Todd, we were just doing, like a Chicago mobster accent at each other all the time. I'm like, Todd, I swear to you, you're fucking dead. We just talked like that the whole year. Give me a coffee. And then Todd graduated. He was a senior when I was a junior, and I came back to school the next summer, and I wasn't really hanging out a lot with people that summer socializing. I was just kind of playing video games, so I didn't have much time to like let it wear off. And I came back, and I was still doing it. I would be doing it, and I realized I would be slipping into it, and I couldn't turn it off. So I'm already very familiar with doing a silly voice so long it just becomes your voice. So
Yeah,
I
I
don't
had
think that'll be
I had a similar point in high school where I was hanging out with people 2 years above me, and so like they would go on and graduate, and then for like a year I didn't have any friends.
Oh man,
Basically.
that sucks. I was
Yeah.
always friends with kids like a year behind me, because usually we would move, and like I got there, and like I was in 8th grade when we moved to Houston, but then like I would be friends with the kids who just got there. Like, you know what I mean? We moved to Palm Desert, and I was in 10th grade when we moved, but functionally I was a new student at high school. You know what I mean? Like I had gone to the one in the other place, but I was new there just like all the 9th graders. And gym wasn't separated by grade, so I hung out with all these kids because I felt like these are my people. This is who I met first, and then I graduated, and then I didn't have anybody to hang out with because then we moved, and they were all at school and shit, and I was like working, and I was like, man, this sucks. I wish I was in the same year as them. We could have had one more year of fun. Yeah, it happened to me, and then I did it to them. I was on the other side of it. I was like, oh, man, I remember how this felt when Justin graduated. It was lame. Anyway. School fucking sucked, but I miss having friends that you see every day. Now I have friends, but it's kind of like, you'll bump into them when you can, you know?
I was looking at the fake ID here, Mr. Obama.
No, wait, I'm not done being nostalgic for my high school years. I had a little Jodio gang that I would roll around with, and we would go do petty crimes. I miss it. I miss being a student. My standability never awoke.
I'm sorry, you paused there. I thought we were moving on.
No, I was staring into the middle distance. It actually is smarter and correct for us to move on. I was kind of doing a joke by making us go back to it.
Okay. Go back. I want to go back.
Put me back. Okay. So, yeah, the improprieties regarding Howler Coastland. So, there's improprieties, I guess. Howler is a fuck shit company. Well, big surprise. It's capitalism, you know. Everything is like that. So, you know, there's nothing ethical about Howler's ownership of this land in the first place.
This also goes more into what's in the next chapter, but like I love that like we're setting up a villain who is so different from our typical JoJo main villains in that he's a loser.
It's crazy. I want to talk about that so bad, but we got to get there. Okay, next page. It's a popular topic these days. The chairman's got to be guilty. Media reports to be believed. They say they're acting in the name of nature conservation. The land is so huge, it's hard for people to notice. They're a real dirty bunch if they're using that land for something they're not supposed to. It could be money laundering or something. Classified information. A private citizen today. I'm off duty. 3 students. Browse original paper copies of deeds. Yeah. So there's already like controversy, and Howler is like in the news. And my question is like, this stuff that they're talking about, like nature conservation and like the legal ownership of the land, are we ever gonna get a word from Araki, perhaps, at this point in this part, where he's like, well, actually, even if it was like this legal shit actually means nothing. This land doesn't belong to any of you. This land was stolen from Hawaiians. You know what I mean? Like, are we gonna get that deep? I wonder. But then we get our introduction to Lulu, this little girl character. I hate her. I'm not gonna read any of her lines.
She's a real piece of shit.
I watched Hamon Beat's chapter review of this because I always check in and see what that guy had to say about the chapter, and he was like, then we get introduced to Lulu. She's a really funny character and switches between this cutesy personality and a more serious one. She was really amusing, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of her. And I was like, are we reading the same thing? Like, is this what you like out of JoJo? I don't know. Every once in a while, a character like this is inserted, and it's just, I'm reading it, and I'm like, this character is not inserted for my enjoyment. This character is inserted to annoy me. Araki's like playing a prank. He's fucking with me.
I think Araki is trying to like establish the character in such a way that even though she is a child, we will not feel bad when our gang murders her.
Yeah, you know what? That's exactly what it is. And that's the thing. Araki sets up these characters that are designed to annoy you, i.e., Joshu, And it's supposed
we need her to kill a dog. Then it seals it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, he's really good at making his characters hateable so that when horrible shit happens to them, we don't care. Do you remember how the furthest extreme of that I can possibly remember is Chocolata's backstory? Where they're like, yeah, no, he's not just an evil doctor. He's not just killing people on purpose during surgery because he, like, gets off on it and has a sick, twisted thrill. He's also filming it and has, like, a selling these videos enterprise on the side. And Chocolata and Seko is there, too, holding the camera sometimes.
He went all in.
And he also fucks the dead bodies. Like,
he went all in on Chocolata being a piece of shit.
Like, he made him about as evil and hateable and horrible and despicable as you could possibly make a character, believably, so that when Giorno punches him into the burnable trash pickup truck, we do not care.
He was like, I want this character to be somebody that Dio would look at and go, Jesus Christ.
Right. That's exactly right. Dio would look at him and be like, this guy is a real piece of shit. This guy has no honor. He's, like, not even worth existence. I mean, Dio does weird shit like that. Like, he had a fucking mansion full of human animal chimeras.
Yeah, he had a phase where he was sticking people's heads on dogs' bodies.
Yeah, but, like, Dio is, like, even before he became a vampire, I bet you he was, like, a kind of, the kind of psychopathic child who, like, kidnaps and tortures small animals. You know what I mean? If he was at the point where he was just gonna shove Danny, the beloved family dog, into the furnace, he's killed a bird before and, like, marveled at how its bones are so easily snappable in his hands.
Yeah.
He doesn't have respect for life. Only his own.
But this guy, though, this Chocolata guy, fuck this guy.
Fuck him in particular. Alright, so, she's like, I want the hula doll thing. It's not actually his child, Bobby Jean says. Which is a little bit, okay, interesting, But then that's like, this establishes them as sort of like a whole horse and boingo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too when I was reading this. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Same page. Yeah. He tries to pay the guy the money, and the guy's like, I don't want it. And then he gives it to him anyway. Money's not allowed. Ba-da-da. Nosebleed. Right, so I have a problem with this. I have a problem with the nosebleed. Alright, next page. There's no sign of 3 people leaving. Nothing exited the building. Da-da-da-da-da. Who are those people? When did she say that? Okay, yeah, it's like 3 pages ahead. It's when she discusses the nosebleed. Alright, so there's no sign of 3 people leaving. There's an ambulance parked there. I heard the lady at the reception collapsed and was taken to the hospital, and that it was out of nowhere. Definitely need to circle back on this later. Remember the lady who was like the receptionist at the land office? All right,
Yeah.
so there's a van, and then Bobby Jean's like, nah, it was a truck on the camera, and the color's wrong. Her nose bleeds a little more. Who are these people? He's pointing right at Usagi and Dragona and Charming Man. But Bobby Jean is just like, they're unrelated. They never went into the building.
It's interesting they didn't replace the camera footage of them exiting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess, well, Usagi was out of commission, so how would they have done that?
Well,
Right.
how are they doing it at all?
Please. So, like, I guess they weren't thinking about it at the time.
No,
but
they're
then
doing
they
it
realized, oh,
right
shoot.
now along the road with Usagi's stand while he's like out of commission. Just go back like 2 pages. I mean, he's in commission. He's like in horrible pain, but he's not unable to use his stand, I guess.
I think it was just like at the time, I guess they just weren't thinking to replace the footage from right outside the land registry office. As they were leaving.
I don't think Iraqi put a ton of thought into this and just needed there to be something that they noticed that doesn't look right. And so, hey, there's no footage of them leaving. No image of them exiting the building. Right. How exactly do 3 people that browse the deeds leave the building?
Because this guard needs to recognize Usagi as the one who spilled his ramen.
Yeah. The boy who spilled the ramen inside the building. This boy the video shows out in the yard entered the building. There's no video of it. I'm certain. The noodles and the broth were all over the floor. We had it cleaned up, though. There's no proof they entered the building, and the 3 that browsed the deeds had totally different clothing and faces. This guy, one being carried by the other 2, looks unwell.
This is where they really fucked up. If they had replaced this, then they would have gotten away.
Yep. He looks unwell. Yeah, he is being carried. Take a good look. He's sick. This is weird because normally we don't see the antagonist going through the same process our protagonists do to figure out an enemy stand. But, like, they are. They're doing it. They're step by step, like, so one of the 2 images is fake. Yeah, so here's Narancia Kujo.
You can see the side by side here now.
Yeah. Dude, Usagi is drawn so funny looking in the front.
Okay, so it's more obvious on the side by side that it's different. That Charming Man looks different, but he barely looks different.
Well, no, I mean, like, Araki Same Face? He's actually beating the Same Face allegations right now. You know what I mean? Like, Narancia Kujo looks significantly different than the other faces on the screen.
Well, it's just like the changed designs for Usagi and Dragona look more different from their normal appearances than the changed design for Charming Man.
Yeah, but even so, I'm like in the way that Araki people accuse him of like he draws everyone with having the same face. Look at the expression on Charming Man's face and the way that he's a little bit more like rounded and his nose is a little bit more sharp versus the big square blockiness of fake Charming Man over here. Like it genuinely reads different. It's a good Araki can draw faces. He's good at it. He's good at drawing. News. That's news to everyone. Wow. All right. Personally, I don't care either way. I don't care whether or not we let these people go. I don't care he came to look at the paper deeds or why they did it, and I don't care who we follow, because all humans will someday meet with an accident and or disease and die without exception. Okay, 2 things. Number 1, who are we casting as this little girl's voice? And second, are we going to place bets on whether or not she's a rock human? Because who the fuck says humans like that?
Who's a really, really annoying child actor? Trying to think.
Well, I don't know any, like, modern-day child actors.
No.
But you could take... You could go, like... I don't know, you could pick somebody like circa a year that they were young in. I don't know. I think I might just make Tara Strong voice her because I fucking hate Tara Strong's voice. She's a great voice actress, but like that cutesy, horrible voice she does.
No, she's got, yeah.
The way that she voiced Harley Quinn in the fucking Batman game that we did a Let's Play of, I did not like her voicing of Harley Quinn at all because it sounded too close to just her normal, annoying, cutesy voice. And that one would be good for this character. Alright, next. But this nosebleed, it looks like one of mine was beaten. One of my bags groove. Okay, I have a problem with this. Is this supposed to reflect damage upon her? Isn't it like when the stand is like this, you just have to go find and defeat the user because hurting the stand isn't going to kill the user?
So,
Harvest reflected damage, but Harvest was directly controlled. It wasn't an automatic pursuit type.
So my question is Bags Groove the plural of Bags Groove singular or Bag Groove singular?
I believe Bags Groove, B-A-G-S, is the name of a Miles Davis song.
Yes, I know. But the way that this is framed is like, you know, there's the quotes around bags and then groove, right?
Yeah.
But how can I put this? So like, you know how like sometimes you'll encounter like nouns, adjective, right?
Yes.
So like the groove is the quality of the bags.
Yes.
Is what I'm saying. So so a single member of Bags Groove is one bag groove.
Right. And then you could say, now all of my bags groove here. Yeah, I know the language, the linguistic concept that you are pointing at, but I couldn't think of an example. So I don't know, but I honestly feel like that S is going to stay there. I don't think we're ever going to see it written bag groove.
Yeah.
We should check the traffic cameras too for cars, number plates and such. Do it. You know what this means? The ones who were browsing the deeds, they were stand users. Fuck. Okay, true. Oh, darn. I'm really bad when it comes to three-letter acronyms. I pushed the wrong elevator button. This floor is for ICU, the intensive care unit, not the MRI. Okay, so this right here, I want to talk about also. So, sorry, let's get back in the elevator. Wait, look, in that treatment room. And then they see the girl. That's the woman from the land registry.
So we've established that Jodio's illiteracy is a mechanism that the lava rock can take advantage of.
Yes. So that's exactly what I wanted to bring up, is that this is a coincidence. This is an unconscious action performed by Jodio that ends up. This is like the opposite of a calamity. This is the most fortunate thing that could possibly happen. Like, our characters just encounter the congressman right there, and he leaves his fucking iPad and runs away. Like, this is the opposite of a calamity. This is like how normally things tend towards chaos. Everything just tended towards order in a miraculous way. And so I feel like this is very, very dangerous and scary, actually. The lava rock can cause people to take unconscious actions that are part of moving the thing. Because it said the lava rock, through people's emotions, moves things that have value. And so, like, it's determined by what people believe has value, and it can be moved through, like, a series of coincidences. But that's scary. Like, what if your unconscious action that you took was stabbing someone and you didn't even realize you were doing it? You know? This unconscious action, this series of coincidences created by the lava rock, has led to this girl fucking dying. And so I'm gonna wonder if our characters are gonna realize at some point that this isn't a coincidence, but it is, but it's a lava rock created coincidence, and that they're gonna realize that they're kind of responsible for her death. I don't know if that's gonna come to pass, but
I mean, like, they're not, like, the lava rock played no role in her death at all because, like...
Or did
well,
it?
Maybe.
Or did it?
There's no conclusive evidence because she was under attack by Bags Groove because of their actions before the lava rock ever came into play. Right?
The lava rock was already manipulating fate and causality to
Yes, but
create this circumstance.
Well, yes, but like their plan was to go to the land registry office and touch the lava rock to the physical deed. So if they had never come in, right, the lava rock would not have manipulated this so that she died.
Right, so you're saying, like, the causality wouldn't have been started getting manipulated yet.
And
But what if going to the land office is just, like, the middle of the causality manipulation, and we're, like, on our way to something else? What if the land office was just something that needed to happen to get something else to happen?
This is a really interesting like topic of conversation for this part, because like it's all linked to like historical determinism, which is basically the idea that every action is the consequence of earlier actions.
Yeah.
So there is no free will because you're just limited by your experiences. So what if all of our characters are essentially just caught in the wake of all of these systems being manipulated by the lava rock?
I think they fucking are. I think that they're just swept up in the current, and we feel like our characters are acting and making choices, but I think actually everything truly is being manipulated. This is all part of a giant Rube Goldberg sequence of events. Maybe it's to get someone else rich. Maybe it's not even for them.
Oh man, that would be amazing. Because you know, there's always like in heist movies, there's always the reveal that surprise, the villain knew about your plan the whole time and actually was part of his plan.
Hey, you. Oh yeah, sorry. Hey,
Wouldn't it be crazy if it turns out that our Joestar group was actually part of Howler's plan all along?
I know that you know that I know all along. All along. Yeah, no, I mean, this could all just be step 37 out of 100 in someone else's master plan, which is scary. Oh, they spelled Sophie 2 different ways. Right next to each other on this page.
Uh-oh.
Boy, I sure hope somebody got fired over that blunder.
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
Yeah. So, Charming Man is commenting on why the fuck we don't understand that she's not connected to this at all, but she was attacked by the enemy stand before Usagi was. And then Paco is like, it's so absurd. I'd really like to do something to help her. We're gonna make sure Usagi is safe. We need to prioritize ourselves. Let's hurry and find that MRI. And the absurd spikes Jodio's interest, which carls back to his and Dragona's backstory about like a sequence of events that was absurd and that nobody could have predicted or expected, i.e. Jodio trying to free Dragona from her bullying, causing their father to be fired from his job and them to enter a life of crime. A sequence of events which is absurd and which they couldn't have seen coming. And absurd also in that same way, in that same sense of meaning a sequence that nobody could have seen coming, means, is describing perfectly this Sophie thing. Like, nobody could have predicted that them going there and touching the land deed to the thing would get this congressman's daughter killed. And so, Paco is expressing sympathy, like, I wish we could do more to help. But also, Jodio is, like, immediately moved by this. He's immediately like, yeah, it is absurd. This is something that doesn't deserve to happen. But before he can like think about it more or say anything about it, our attention is immediately drawn to Mr. iPad Congressman over here.
It's a topic that Araki likes to come back to, like in every part.
Right.
Where it's like this big debate over whether the world is inherently pro or anti predetermination.
But also like the concept of absurdity and being beset by extreme misfortune and being like, why do I deserve this? What is the nature of the universe? What is the nature of existence? Are we born just to suffer? Like, why the fuck is my life so bad? You know, in like backstories and things. Often now it has this this name, the absurd, but in like characters' backstories, we will often see this concept of the absurd, even though it wasn't named that yet. For example, the complete insanity of Weather Report's backstory in Part 6. Like, that is, like, the ultimate, like, absurdity tragedy. Like, his sister, he was hung, and then the sister killed herself, and then he killed himself right back, you know?
The mechanisms, man.
The mechanisms. But yeah, I just wanted to point out that this thing that Araki does, where he's, like, having someone experience just, like, the worst of the world in order to break them down, that's called the absurd now. When they have the fucking thing that happened to goddamn oh no, dude, my JOJOLian brain is finally atrophying. I can't remember the name of Blue Hawaii's user. Dolomite's Blue Lagoon. Damn, dude, you fucking got me on that one. I just realized we haven't mentioned Yotsuyu Yagiyama in a while.
Shall I ring the bell?
I don't have the ability to ring the bell. I only have like the regular ones. Wait, I have a rim shot and I haven't been using it? Okay, alright. This podcast just got way more annoying. I'm gonna be using that rim shot a lot. Alright. But yeah, the thing he does where he gives someone like the most miserable and ridiculous possible backstory, that's the absurd. Alright. Congressman White, there's too little evidence to sign it. Could actually become a liability if you do. I can't believe this has happened. Sophie, my daughter, is wonderful, full of life. She made me an egg. Talking about Otani. Shohei Otani? The baseball player? I'm sure of it. My poor girl, her symptoms are from poisoning. This is an attack on me. I've been getting threats for a while. This is Howler's work. Terrorism to get me to stay quiet about the land improprieties. There isn't enough proof. We need to be certain. We can't make a move until we find solid evidence. I'm telling you, if you want proof, we'll find it by using state authority to seize their land on the island of Hawaii. Proof of their land impropriety. There's sure to be proof on that land. How could this happen to my daughter? If only I'd signed this sooner. If we'd just seized their land, then maybe none of this would have happened. And then, so I didn't even realize this at first, but it's for sure a flat line. It says 0 over here. Beep! Ah, Sophie! Okay. Oh, Lord in heaven, please save my Sophie. This is a really cool shot. The individual square panels here of all 5 gang members. I really like that. That's gonna be great in the anime.
Yeah,
I hope they do a cool.
They'll do it like the
Persona 5.
I don't know how it goes in Persona 5, but they'll have like each focus shot appear sequentially across the screen.
Yes, yeah. Persona 5 has cool like cut-ins and does that sort of thing where it's like the panels show up on the screen. I was just sort of using that as a reference for like visual flair, making panels move.
Yeah.
But yeah. That man is her father, the reception ladies. He must have rushed over. Said they were going to seize the land, right? Using state authority, they'd seize Howler's land by force to make it state-owned land. What is this he's signing? Screen document, fingerprint authorization, pink chan, press it. Oh man, this last page is great. It looks awesome. It's gotta be you know what? It's power. The lava rock. The land is on its way to us.
So what's interesting is like the lava rock didn't go all the way and make him put in the fingerprint authorization. So I have to wonder, what happens if they walk away? If they don't move the fingerprint onto it?
Well, they don't walk away. In this situation, they make this decision.
Yeah, but I mean,
historical determinism's a bitch.
what's the next move if they miss this opportunity? Because the lava rock is going to make sure the land gets to them.
The lava rock is making sure they don't miss this opportunity. I don't know what you mean. Once we've engaged with a force that is literally manipulating causality, I can't really ask questions like that anymore.
the lava rock whispering in their ear, "Hey, you should really put that fingerprint on there and press it."
No, it's Paco saying it, which is surprising to me. Remember how I said a couple chapters ago, a couple episodes ago, it feels a little bit like Paco is the leader of the gang sometimes.
Yeah, but you have to imagine the stand of the lava rock appearing behind Paco and saying, "Hey, you should tell them to press it."
Press it. Do it. No, but Paco in this moment, I like that, all of the gang is standing here like watching Dragona do this, but he's the one who's like, press it. Do it. And I just wonder, like...
Do you know what that stand is? That's Cheap Trick. I just realized.
Oh, whispering into his ear.
Burn the photos.
Burn them. Have you ever seen the live action Rohan show?
Oh, I haven't. No. Did they adapt Cheap Trick or whatever?
They did.
Ah, cool.
They're about to come out with a new episode. I haven't really seen it, but I've seen people talking about it and being like, it's actually a really good show. And from what I've seen, it seems fun. Like I like the Rohan stories. And, I saw a bit of the Cheap Trick adaptation. And I was like, oh, this is actually a lot of fun to have these sort of like more down-to-earth Rohan stories be adapted into live action. Like, I wouldn't want them to adapt Part 3. But yeah. Anyway, a new one is about to come out. It is a episode adapting Poaching Seashore, which is the Rohan chapter where he goes with Tonio Trussardi to go to the ocean to get abalones or whatever.
Yep.
But the adaptation is also adapting the Let's Go Eat Italian Food arc, and they're smushing them into one story.
How is that gonna work?
Well, the story opens, it seems like, with him and his editor Izumi going to eat Italian, but Josuke and Okuyasu are not part of this show. They exist in the canon, but they're not on these adventures that Rohan is going on. So Rohan and Izumi are going to go to the cafe and then probably discover the food's magical properties, and then Rohan's probably going to go through...
How did they adapt Cheap Trick? Was Koichi in that episode?
No, and neither was the Ghost Alley, I don't think. I don't even remember how he defeated Cheap Trick. They changed stuff that doesn't make sense because it wasn't set up by the rest of Part 4.
Dude, that's crazy. I gotta get on that at some point.
It is crazy. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Rohan and Izumi are going to be taking the place of Josuke and Okuyasu in the Italian food arc. So Rohan will go through Josuke's arc of being like, holy shit, the food's so good. Or maybe it's evil. No, wait, it's great. No, wait, it's evil. And then he'll go back there and confront Tonio. And then that'll lead to the rest of the Poaching Seashore thing. Because then Poaching Seashore, Tonio is like, my girlfriend or my cousin or my sister or whatever has a disease, and we need to go get these ultra-rare abalones so that I can cook them and make her a cure. And Rohan's like, fine, if you fucking want me to come, I'll go. So
Holy
I think
shit,
they're
that
gonna
dog just exploded. Wait, no, he's fine.
What?
The dog. Remember, Tonio fed some food to a dog, and it had what was it called? Pearl Jam in it.
Uh-huh.
And the dog's intestines exploded out of his body, but then he was fine.
Yeah, no, I completely forgot about that. I remembered Okuyasu scratching all his skin off. I didn't remember the dog's intestines exploding. That's crazy because, why the fuck would you ever go there if your intestines explode? I understand it, undoes itself and then you're better than ever, but, no one would tolerate that.
I imagine you immediately forget the trauma of the damage.
Yeah, I guess so. It's equivalent exchange, isn't it?
I suppose it is.
Could be. Okay, well that's...
I wonder if that Rohan show will adapt something from this part. That'd be wild, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh my god. If it adapts the Rohan struggling with home invaders in Hawaii arc?
I mean, think about it. He's the same character.
Yeah. That's crazy. So there are at least 3 distinct Rohans across the multiverse now. There's the Rohan of the original continuity. No, 4. Maybe 5? There's the Rohan of the original continuity. There's the Rohan that we just met in part 9. There's Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan, because he is depicted as having gotten his stand when he was little and has had it for a long time, whereas in part 4 he was supposed to have got it from the arrow. So that's a distinct Rohan, different continuity.
Are you sure that Rohan got his stand from the arrow in part 4?
Looking it up. Rohan.
Because I don't remember if that was mentioned. I thought he was like just a random stand user. Plus, like Thus Spoke seems to slot really nicely in between, like in the downtime of part 4.
Okay.
Or at least the framing devices of Thus Spoke.
Heaven's Door was in fact acquired when he was shot with the arrow.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would have to pull up part 4. I don't have anything before part 5 downloaded, so I can't just go directly to the chapter. But if you're interested in a citation, it's from chapter... Jesus Christ, why is my... Okay, yeah. Never mind. My browser is not behaving. Also, did you know Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan is not its real title?
Yeah, I believe we've mentioned this multiple times on the show. The literal translation is Rohan Kishibe does not move.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's just that, like, we've been doing this for so long that it's kind of like listening to 10 years worth of Game Grumps, and you can hear Aaron tell Dan no less than 10 separate times, hey, did you know that flies take off backwards? And each time, Dan is like, really? Oh, I didn't know that. And he's not, like, being nice. He genuinely just doesn't remember the same way Aaron doesn't remember saying it. So that's you and me. We're just getting old.
Oh, look. Statistically, I have to catch some of them, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. So...
One of us has to be on the ball at all times, statistically speaking.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so... It does say that it was acquired when he was shot by the arrow. Let's go to the Manga Artist's House Part 3, Chapter 320. So, if I were to look that up, it would be a panel of Rohan being like, ever since I got shot with that arrow. But there are TSKR stories that take place before Part 4, where he has his stand. So that's anachronistic. And then the 4th Rohan across the multiverse is the live-action Rohan. And these are all distinct incarnations of him who have been on different adventures than each other, or similar adventures that played out slightly different. Well, I guess actually we could split up anime Rohan and manga Rohan as well.
I have to wonder if those, about the timing of those Thus Spoke stories, and whether, like, is this like an unreliable narrator thing, or...
Well...
Does he actually use Heaven's Door in those stories?
Yes. Which is what makes it confusing. Yeah, so... Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan. Da-da-da-da-da. Whoa. According to Satoshi Yamauchi, Hirohiko Araki jokingly considered having Rohan appear in JOJOLian, mentioning Rohan's ability to keep up with time acceleration during the final battle of Stone Ocean. That's funny because it kind of would have made a lot more sense for him to appear in JOJOLian rather than in JOJOLands.
Yeah.
But it's like a thing that he wanted to do.
I think canonizing that this is like literally the same Rohan, much as we joke about him being the same character, probably would have actually, I don't know. I wouldn't have liked that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have liked the explanation. I wouldn't have liked the added explanation of like why he's exactly the same. It's like, no, I think Rohan should just be Rohan in every universe. And
Yeah.
you know, that we don't need an explanation.
Okay, so Rohan Goes to the Louvre is the one.
Like, you know, in some universes, Dio is like he is in part 1 to part 6. But in some universes, he's like he is in part 7 in part 7. Sometimes Kira is a serial killer, sometimes he's a sailor. But Rohan Kishibe, he does not move.
I like that. I see what you're getting at. I like that's all coming together. He does not move. He's a rock. He's unmovable. Yeah, I don't know, man. It might just be Rohan at the Louvre that contradicts.
That's what I think. That's what I'm thinking, because like that one is like, hasn't that one like always been like sort of questionable?
Yeah.
Alongside like what was it, Jolene Fly High with Gucci or something?
Correct. Yeah. But the Kishibe Rohan meets Gucci is canon. The infinite Gucci bag that he found, that was real.
Huh.
When, on the wiki, it says, non-canon section begins here. Rohan at the Louvre concludes non-canon section. Rohan meets Gucci. So, I don't know why one of these crossovers is fucking canon and the other two aren't, but I don't need to be trolling the wiki anymore right now. I'm wasting time. Let's get on to the first page of the next chapter. There's a bunch more stuff to talk about.
Here we have our first look at, I think, the main villain, or not, maybe not the main villain. Maybe he's like a red herring villain and we'll meet the main villain later.
Wait, first I want to talk about the cover page, which looks fucking awesome.
Another page.
The cover page.
That's what I'm looking at.
Oh, I thought you said another page. No, it's just this one. It looks really goddamn cool.
Everyone's... Like you can see him. You can see Howler right here.
Yeah, everyone's got a cool swagged out pose that they're doing. Dude, Bobby Jean is dressed like, he's dressed like Joseph Joestar. And by that I mean he's dressed like Josephumi. And he's also dressed like... Sorry, go ahead.
I like how everybody was like at the same place, but then Jodio got right up into the camera.
Jodio was like, nah, I'm gonna change the settings on the camera. Oops. But yeah, Bobby Jean is dressed like Josephumi Joestar, Joseph Joestar from fucking the end of part 8, but he's also dressed like Joseph Joestar from part 3, like old Joseph. It's crazy. He's got a cool double Joseph outfit happening. And everyone's got like a dope swagged out pose that they're doing. Except for Dragona, who didn't really realize the picture was being taken and is just sort of walking to her spot still. Alright, Let's get into it. And then what is happening here? What the fuck is happening here? It's a little, like, eyedropper with, like, goop and a thing in it. What's the thing?
They're like, well, hang on.
Rishiri.
Rishiri. What is Rishiri? This is probably something that's, like, out in, Japan. Rishiri Kanbu.
Rishiri is an island off the coast of Hokkaido. So, like, it's some sort of seafood, and they must have fished for it there. Raosu Daishi stock. Kombu? No, it's seaweed. That's seaweed. Yeah, no, I have no idea what they're eating. Oh, no, it says kombu right there.
Yeah, it says kombu. Yeah.
Okay. Weird.
Oh, the beautiful green spheres in the broth are simply green peas with parboiled with salt.
Okay.
It's a green pea.
I literally could have just read the next page instead of Googling shit.
Yeah, sorry. I forgot that he said that as well. I basically glossed over this whole part. Because, like, this is so far out of context for me.
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on. Although, you know, like, shout out Araki for bringing back the Rero 30 years later. Shout out Araki for having a weird tongue thing and making me think about Kakyoin again.
So, about Howler's design, and actually it's probably a better place to bring this up. Let me see if there's a better shot of him anywhere. Yeah, there's a better shot of him later. But, like, we can already see elements of it here. Is, like, he looks like a mishmash of Giorno, but with only one hair donut that's not quite complete.
Yeah.
Fugo with, like, the cutout clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's got, like, the linear facial hair patches that, like, started with Poochie. So it's, like, already...
It's very Gyro Zappelli, the beard.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also he's got the weird, like, the hair tendrils coming out the back. It's kind of like Weather Report.
I was thinking about him...
Hair tendrils coming out the back?
I was thinking about him in the context of, like, part 5 and part 6, because, like, that's what this part is supposed to be, like, the remix of those two parts in particular. And so, like, I'm thinking if he's, like, the main villain, then he'll probably have, like, design elements from major characters in those parts.
Yeah. It was Poochie that I was thinking of. It's not
Poochie, yeah.
Weather Report. It was Poochie that has, like, the little tails coming off the back of his head. Like, his head is shaved into that pattern, but then he has, like, the ponytails at the back.
So he's like a hybrid Giorno, Fugo, Poochie.
Giorno, Fugo, Redfish, Bluvo. That didn't make any sense. I'm sorry. Yeah. He has some crazy design elements going on. And I definitely didn't really think about the Fugo comparison until you just said it just now. Because, like, the cutout, the holes on his pants and on his arms and legs.
Not sure if those are holes. They might be, like,
They look to have a little bit of depth. The way they're shaded, they seem depthful. But they could be just polka dots. But, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me a little bit of Chainsaw Man. Have you ever read that? You have to have read it because the part I'm talking about is only in the manga. Well, there's a bit right after what we've seen in the anime. So, like, in the first, like, 10 chapters where episode 12 of the anime left off. Oh, excuse me, gosh. Just in a couple chapters after that, there is, like, everyone from around the world, all the assassins, all the greatest assassins of every nation, all come together to try and kill Chainsaw Man to claim the reward. And they don't come together. They come separately and like one by one try their shit, but it's all going on at once. So there's like everyone's plans are crashing into each other. And one of the sequence of going around and getting all of the assassins, or like we cut to establishing shots of each of them. One of them, her name is Quan Shi, and she's like the greatest assassin in China, and she's like a devil herself, but like you just think she's like a human who's insane at the beginning. And so the establishing shot of her is that she's like in bed with like 4 like half human, half devil girls, and they're like all just sort of like sprawled out on the bed together, and the implication is that they just got done like all fucking each other, and the government comes in and is like, we need you to kill Chainsaw Man, what's your price? And she says, education and rights for my girls. And they're like, okay, whatever you want. So these human devil hybrids don't have like rights under human law, like they can't go to school and shit. So she's like, I want to protect my 4 beautiful girlfriends.
How based of her.
Yeah, this thing where he's got the 3 of them, I don't know, this is very like Quan Chi and her 3 lesbian demon fiend girlfriends.
Yeah, but that's like a common trope, is like establishing shot of like the character waking up surrounded by beautiful women.
Exactly.
To show that they're a boss.
Indeed. And then it's sort of like the way that Quan Chi is interesting to me is that she inverts like the, like Dio's mansion is just full of half-naked women and he doesn't care. Half of them are like drained of their blood. Some of them are like escaping. He just doesn't give a shit, like he views them as disposable and whatever. Quan Chi is like, no, I love them with all of my heart. Like they're my world. It's not like a disposable whatever harem. It's like this is the polycule.
It's an interesting subversion of expectations.
Yeah. Also, are these women flight attendants?
Yes. They actually are, yes.
I
You
can
can
see
see them putting their uniforms back on.
Right. And the way that the girl on the left has her hair is a very like flight attendant hairstyle. That's not a I'm relaxing and having sex and eating delicious food hairstyle. It's very flight attendant-y. I'm gonna buy Hokkaido for you the next chance I get. Big talk. If you pay enough money,
Yeah, but we know we can back it up.
and bend the land regulations some, you can develop as many resorts as you want. Environment's in much better hands under my thumb, you morons. Let's go to an onsen again and eat daishi together. We'll be preparing to land soon. Please fasten your seatbelt. Before that, let me close this zipper. Yeah, she's zipping up his pants. I didn't even catch that. What a fantastic day. Man, Honolulu already? Alright, and then they're touching down. Something's going on. Who are they? That immigration gate is a private pathway only for me to use. Thanks, all of you. Yeah, they are flight attendants. You're all as lovely as flowers.
So that's how you know this guy's evil. He specifically bought out an immigration gateway for his exclusive use.
Just for him. Also, I really like the Howler logo.
Oh, he racist.
Oh, he racist. Oh, man. I only ride in Rolls Royces when being picked up or dropped off from airports. The ones with planetariums on the ceiling. You're Mac from Dolphin Bank, if I recall correctly. I'd like to enter the country. Mind not blocking my gate? Some urgent news I must inform you about. We've been waiting your arrival. You can call me on the plane, right? Felt it would be best to tell you in person. If the media were to catch wind of what I'm about to say to you, it would cause quite a bit of hoopla for you. It's regarding the northern slope of Hualalai on the island of Hawaii. 300 square kilometers of land owned by you, Howler-sama. The current market value of that land is $10.6 billion. The island of Hawaii. Yeah, he really looks like Giorno in this panel where it says the island of Hawaii.
Yeah.
A lot. I'm getting very much, like, I can squint and that's Giorno. The one where it's just his eyes. A short while ago, the state government has started about on the seizure of that land. It's to be announced momentarily. For some reason, Congressman White has suddenly given his signature to permit the seizure of the land. Other congressmen have approved it as well. Signed a seizure? What are you talking about? He can't just do that out of the blue. The fool. What's his reasoning? He's got no grounds. Cannot imagine any sort of grounds or reason for it ourselves. We hope you'll inquire with the state government about it, but the perception will be that this is proof of your villainy. Something of that sort, Howler-sama. They'll say you stole the public's tax money under the pretense of developing waterworks with Hualalai's water veins. What is with you guys? What did you banking folks come here for exactly? Wait, what should his voice sound like? Who are we casting?
He should be Dracula Flow guy.
Whoa! No, I don't know. What did
He's
you...
making too much money.
Okay. Well, that's pretty good. Yeah. All right. Okay, let me get into the Dracula flow voice, and then I'll read his lines. Caught a broke boy trying to come up on my Amazon package. Had to skin his ass alive. Is this a goddamn joke? What are you talking about? No, now I'm doing a country voice now. I can't do it. No. I don't know. Dracula flow guy's a good idea, though.
Maybe go Vince McMahon.
I don't know how to do Vince McMahon. That's money I spent on the Honolulu head office building. Now I'm just doing Harrison Ford. It belongs in a museum.
You were pretty close with that, Vince McMahon.
Thanks. I don't know. It was cobbled together on the fly. Anyways, we at Dolphin Bank currently have a loan to your Howler code totaling $38 billion. We've just sent you the documentation. We're collecting it. Pay us now. That is the bank's decision. This is a goddamn joke. What are you talking about, $38 billion? That's money I spent on the Honolulu head office building. And of that number, $20 billion was for other lands on Oahu, right? I only borrowed that money because you guys at the bank said to. Same goes for this private jet. I'm taking it because you guys said to lease purchase it for tax purposes. We will be collecting
Howler.
all of it immediately.
I like
Howler.
he says his own name out loud.
I should have read that. You guys said to lease purchase it for tax purposes. Howler. We will be collecting all of it immediately. If you cannot assemble that much in cash, then we recommend you pay with the land you possess. You're bankrupt, Howler-sama. You're going to be found guilty for crimes regarding Hualalai land, you see. So you're betraying me? You full well know that you guys are villains just as much as I am. This is such a funny stance for the villain to have. To be like, what do you say fuck me for? Like, you guys are bad guys too. What the hell? Like, he knows he's a villain. He doesn't think his actions are just at all.
I think it's really great that like I was talking about earlier. It's like this guy's a loser. He's I think that like actually like what we're looking at is like a reactionary antagonist,
Right,
which
like,
is very rare.
He's not a
Because, like,
mastermind. He doesn't have
his
any
own-
plan.
Like his own like role in the story is motivated by the mechanisms set out by our protagonists.
Right. So he's the one responding to a change in the status quo. He is the protagonist, actually. The antagonist is the one that sparks change. That's us. That's our guys. That's our team. We're the ones changing the status quo around here. He's fighting to restore it. It's an interesting place to put your villain. And it's interesting because he doesn't have a grand plan, nor is he calculating or smart or intelligent at all. He literally is just doing whatever the people at the bank said and letting them take advantage of his massive fortune. But, like, he doesn't care. He didn't get here by being smart and cunning. He got here by luck. He lucked into the lava rock, and the lava rock did all this for him. So it makes sense that he's not, like, a grand plan mastermind, because he doesn't need to be. He didn't need to be to get here. He never developed those skills. He's kind of just bumbling through it cluelessly.
And we've seen villains in JoJo under stress, well, I think there's at least one moment per part where the villain is actually like, oh shit, I could die here if things don't go right.
Right.
But like this is the first time we've seen a villain under stress in their first appearance.
Right. And, like, throwing a tantrum. No, you're the only one going down with the ship. But before you fall into the darkness, we'll be collecting what we're owed, you see. Now, if you'll excuse us, damn country bumpkin, this will be the end of that conceited, condescending attitude, too. Yeah, so they've been preying on his downfall. They've been, like, waiting.
This shot of the bankers walking away reminds me of that
Tattoo you.
volume cover of
All the
Wonder of You.
Yeah, the sort of like
ring.
Renee Magritte thing, standing in midair. Yeah. I like that one. It's a good volume cover. All right, the next page. Just what the hell is going on all of a sudden?
And here's our first really good look at his design. You see, like, he's he doesn't look like a businessman.
No,
He's
he
like,
does not.
like he's a loser.
And it's specifically because of the lava rock. Like, he had cheat codes turned on. So he's not leveled up any of his skills. He's not good at anything. I wonder what his stand does, though. The north slope of Hualalai. That's what the state is seizing. Hello? I'll be heading back to the head office soon. Could you find Bobby Jean for me? Where is he right now? It's urgent that I contact him. Agent Bobby Jean. You know him, right? Hurry. If there's a movement like this happening, couldn't be you know what, could it? So this is awesome. That he knows about the lava rock. That's great. I'm excited that there's two sides to it. You know what I mean? It's not just like our heroes and nobody else. Well, Charming Man knew, but how the fuck? Charming Man knew because he saw Rohan Kishibe on the shore with the rocks and the money. Anyway, similar to the movement that happened once when I was a child, that was the sudden change in the system of money flow. It can't be, can it?
Take a look at his stand here.
Yeah,
It's
I
got
wanna
the
talk about
walleye
this.
on its back.
It does. It does have the walleyes on its back. It's got a walleyes jetpack. I bet you it can like and shoot pressurized air out of there and fly. It's got cool little weird nubbins coming off it and a flower on the side of its head.
Kind of like are those like Shrek ears?
Well, there's
Almost.
more nubbins coming off like the shoulders and the back jetpack pieces as well.
Oh yeah, I see them now.
There's more little nubbins. I guess it kind of does have Shrek ears though. Alright, so back to Bobby Jean and Lulu. We're looking for a pickup truck, not a van. That van doesn't even fit the number from before. What? This guy fucking sucks at investigating. You've literally already determined last fucking chapter that one of the images is fake. So why are we doing this?
You know that your quarry has the ability to manipulate film footage. Why are you even
Why are
trusting?
you still treating that like it's good information? Bobby Jean fucking sucks at investigating. Alright, but the girl peeks through the car. These folks look totally different. They're unrelated. That's the thing that's most important here, is finding out just what it was that the folks who looked at the original deeds at the registry came for. What matters isn't their faces.
Here's another set of unused character designs.
Yeah, yeah. Who are all of these supposed to be? This isn't our crew, is it?
It's the JOJOLands retirement home.
Oh my gosh, this is our crew. That's Paco back there. Is this Jodio then? The kid over here with the poncho?
Poncho.
On the left.
On the left.
The kid in the lower left with the deep v-neck. Whatever it is he's wearing. Is that Jodio then? Because then that's Usagi, the one with the stupid hat on. That's Dragona with the flowers. That's Paco over there. So then Charming Man's got to be the old man in the middle, right?
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
It's the JOJOLands retirement home. The thing that's most important, we got to find out what their objective is. It's what they did. Those weren't newspaper reporters. And they sure as hell weren't police. I don't need to waste time staring at your fake images. Who the hell cares about those things? Yeah, fucking this girl knows what's happening. Well, you do have a point. Just exactly what could they be after? But it's not really our job to figure out what they did. It's to pursue and eliminate them. That's what we're paying for. Don't go doing more than you're paid to do. Yeah, now see, this guy, this is a man with experience. He's been doing this a while, I think. Anyhow, one way or another, they're going to get sick and die, right, Lulu-chan? Uh-huh. Jeez, what the hell? These people really piss me off. Yeah, that's right. They're gonna die for sure. This panel of her is actually really cute. When she's like shaking her little fists. All humans, they all die either in accidents or by illness. The mothers, the fathers, the brothers, the sisters, the friends, the everyone. They'll all get sick and die. But hey, look, buy me that. You see that on the seat? Buy it. That's a flower hair ornament. Looks like one fell off someone's head onto that seat there. The floral ornament some old granny was marrying. It's cute! I want it! Buy it for me! Ah! She starts doing a stand rush with her keys on the fucking car door. No, it's with the cat's ears. scratching the fuck out of it. I'll buy it for you, but it doesn't have to be right now. I'll get you one when we go to a place where there's shops, so just calm down. These freaking people, man. I have friends like this. She reminds me of my friend Jasmine, who in one moment will be like, no, we gotta do this. We gotta stick to the fucking mission. I gotta find out what's going on, and that's what's important. And then, like, I don't give a fuck about your fake images. I don't care how you're trying to do it. And then in the next moment, like, everyone's gonna die, you know that? And then in the next moment, freaking out, and the next moment crying.
Mood whiplash, and it's literally from one panel to the next.
Yeah. And then, you know, by the end of it, you're hugging Jasmine, and she's crying, and she's like, these freaking people. It's crazy.
Oh man, I can't wait to see this in animation.
Yeah. I wonder if they're gonna do it justice. I mean, I don't know. The way that the emotions swing wildly from one panel to the next. I need the cuts to be very abrupt. Okay. Up till now, no matter how excellent a doctor they are, they've never found my bag's groove's little lesions. That's because they've all died before a doctor can find them. But just now, they got one of them. Someone tracked down my bag's groove inside a body. That means someone was cured. They were supposed to die, but they didn't. Who are these people? It's of absolute importance we figure out what it is they're after. We need to find the people that rode in this van. Got it, Lulu-chan. There's a hospital on the other side of this parking lot, and it's a big one. Wait, a hospital? Oh, they must be trying to heal their other comrades. That's got to be the place. But not to get a doctor to cure them. They went there for an MRI to try and find the lesion themselves. The place we should be going to is an MRI.
Here's like a moment where like Bobby Jean isn't totally incompetent. He's like she's like, okay, we need to find these people and what they're after. He's like, hey, there's a hospital on the other side of this parking lot. Maybe they went there.
Yeah, I mean, solid observation, dude. He didn't come up with that, though. He was just like, there's a hospital. No, you know what, though? It makes sense, though, because he's saying that in response to her being like, we got to find out what it is they're after. And so he's like, well, hey, if they came here, maybe they were going there. They're trying to heal their comrades. Good observation, Bob. This panel is so good. The one where they're all in a huddle. We're seeing them from below. Like they're drafting the play they're going to make in football. Are you all listening?
Here's what we're gonna do.
Now here's what you're gonna do.
Here's what we're gonna. First, we're gonna put Usagi in the MRI tunnel. Then we analyze the images and find the lesion inside Usagi's body. I'm expecting it to be somewhere from his heart to his brain, so we'll aim for the head when we're taking the photos.
Hang on, I want to read that line as Mike. I want to do it a little bit differently.
Okay.
You all listening? Here's what we're gonna do. First, we put Usagi in the MRI tunnel. Then we analyze the images and find the lesion inside Usagi's body. I'm expecting it to be somewhere from his heart to his brain, so we'll aim for the head when we're taking photos. The way that Jonathan Banks is like, it's gonna be inside his body. No, I can't do it because my mouth isn't the right shape, but there's a bit from Community where he's playing a character on that show. And or no,
D&D one.
No. This isn't from Community. This is from the first episode of Better Call Saul. Not the first episode. It's from like episode 2 or something, where he decides not to press charges against Jimmy for like shoving him outside the fucking courtroom. You know the scene, and Jimmy like races down the stairwell after him, and is like, hey, why'd you do that back there? And he's like, shut up, I helped you, go away, you don't need to hear my reasoning. And he's like, no, I do. I refuse to believe it's because you have something resembling a heart inside your body. And Mike says, you're not going to have a heart inside your body in about 5 seconds. It's so fucking good. It's like a pure comedy line. You're not going to have a heart inside your body.
Jonathan Banks is such a treasure.
Jonathan Banks, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be a sad day when he passes away. My God. Jonathan Banks. Incredible. All right. The enemy stand is at the lesion. Then I'll enter his body with smooth operators. Okay. Then we grab it and drag it out. Okay, MRI time. Let's crush that thing. Wait, why can't we... This doesn't make any goddamn sense. Or no, wait. No, I guess it does. Because I was going to say, why do we need the MRI machine at all when Charming Man can just make his eyeball go in there and search around for it? Like, we have a search, and then smooth operators can grab it. Although, but wait, why can smooth operators grab it, but Charming Man's eyeball rocks couldn't grab it without getting infected? Why
Maybe
can
it
smooth
is
operators grab it? Earlier
Maybe
we
it is
discussed...
stand on stand.
Well, but... Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so what I was saying was, why the fuck do we need the MRI at all to find out where it's going if we have Charming Man's eye and smooth operators? Like, we have viewing and moving power. Why do we need the MRI to see anything at all? But I think that actually I'm not finding a plot hole here. I think this is supposed to be like this. Because I'm pretty sure it went into his brain and then we couldn't get it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it became too small and it went, like, into the blood vessels heading towards his brain.
But then you were also asking, like, why use smooth operators?
Why can smooth operators touch it? Yeah.
And, like, so, like, before, we hypothesized that, like, it was because Dragona was removing her own bag's groove.
Mm-hmm.
Here, it doesn't make as much sense, but I guess, like, so... Best case scenario is because it's a stand and not part of Dragona's body like Charming Man's eye was. She can use smooth operators to remove it without infecting herself. But worst case, she reinfects herself and then she can remove it with her own stand.
Yeah,
because they know how it works.
You're transferring it onto somebody who can better deal with it, I guess. Because then it's like you've transferred it to someone who can cure it out of themselves so it can die with them instead of just getting passed around. Or at least she can hold it there while Jodio puts a single droplet of water down her throat again. So, this next bit is really funny. They're like, do you have a reservation for the MRI room? Like, get out of here. And then it's like, it's no problem. I'll just say that I want an MRI. You memorized it, right?
they're like, who the fuck are you? It's just, what are you doing in here?
But then immediately, Charming Man is like, okay, so you got the MRI memorized, right? And he's like, what? You're going to examine me with a fake MRI? yeah, I guess I got it. It's so funny.
This is basically the standard of medical care in the criminal world.
In the JoJo universe, for sure. Come on, over here. There's an empty room. It's got a bunch of equipment.
Well, it's like criminals, because like we've seen like in Better Call Saul when Nacho gets shot.
Right, and they take him to the vet, and the vet works on him in like a dirty, disgusting, abandoned warehouse thing.
Yeah, and it's like this is just that, but like a bit higher standard because they have magic punch ghosts that can make better stuff.
I really like that scene. I like right at the end where he leans into Nacho's ear and he's like, "Don't ever talk to me ever again. I don't ever want to see you.
Shit is too hot for me.
Get the fuck out of here and never come back." No, it's great. And then he says that this cartel shit is too hot for me. And then he's out of the show for like 4 seasons. Comes back once for a cameo. Not a cameo, but a little tiny scene in season 6.
Well, he comes back. He comes back to sell Jimmy his black book.
No, he comes back to sell Jimmy the chemical that they are going to put on the photos that's going to make Howard's pupils dilate. And they discuss the black book, but he doesn't purchase it from him. He certainly does, though.
I assume shortly after that, though, he from him. Because,
sure.
Yeah.
I don't think he did that that day, though. You know what I mean? I don't think it's like a situation where like they walked out and he's like, actually, Kim, would you excuse me 1 second? I'll be right back. And he goes in there and he's like, hey, how much for the book? I don't think that happens. I think that once everything goes sour with Howard and Kim leaves him,
Yeah,
at some point he's like, let me go get that fucking book.
It was somewhere between you know, at some point we'll wake up and we won't even remember this, and him actually waking up and not even thinking about it.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that. That's such a good. That's amazing. I literally did not cross my mind at all.
Yeah, no, because he quoted back.
Yeah,
what Mike had said to him.
He quotes the advice back to Kim, and that's so funny that when we cut away from Kim, I was having too much fun. We cut away from that. What moment should we skip to? Well, the moment he wakes up and doesn't think about it at all. That's so cute. That's fantastic. That's adorable. I like that. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Have you I gotta recommend a YouTuber to you who does like great analyses of the Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul videos, but in like the format of a tier list.
Oh, okay.
So the YouTuber's channel is Beat Rice.
Beat Rice. I've seen him.
Words.
I've seen
yes.
him. I have seen him.
Yes.
I know his videos. I actually have seen all of them. I very frequently need like a long video in the background for me to listen to while I'm like at work or doing other bullshit or just driving. And so I worked my way through all of his Better Call Saul ones, and then I went back and did the Breaking Bad ones, and then his season 6 tier list came out. I did all the Breaking Bad ones while I was waiting. It's crazy.
I'm pretty sure his season 6 tier list is exactly where I got that little tidbit of analysis. Like, if only subconsciously, is like, yeah, we cut from him saying eventually we'll wake up and realize we won't have we haven't thought about it at all, to actually waking up and not thinking about it at all.
True. Also, because of that scene, when we cut forward to Saul waking up in the mansion, in the gold ceiling, and his wake up alarm is any way you want it, that's the way you need it. That's forever burned into my mind as like that association, like fat comb over Saul getting his butt cheeks up out of bed, and he like, it's like, she loves to laugh, she loves to sing, she wants everything, and he punk, and he's like slaps the top of it. Like, he set that as his wake up alarm song. The song starts. It's not a radio clock. It didn't just turn on a random song. That's the one that he set, but then he turns it off so aggressively. And there's something so true to life about that. You set a song for your wake up alarm that you like because you want to hear something decent, but then when it comes time, you're like, yeah, fuck that fucking song. I can't think about anything else when I hear that Journey song. Anyway, back to the chapter. That was a lot of Saul Goodman talk. Could Saul Goodman... He's not a detective, so it's not worth asking, could he solve the Death Note case? But if the Death Note case had been solved by Mike, perhaps, and then, Saul Goodman was tasked with defending Light in a court of law, do you think he could get him off?
I think Light would not let Saul Goodman defend him.
Why not?
His ego would not allow him to be seen relying on this clown.
Oh, man. Well, the thing is, like, he is a clown, but I'm thinking of Saul Goodman, like, at his height, like, when he tricks the whole court into not realizing that that's not the defendant, and the defendant's sitting in the back of the room. Like, that shit, that sort of, like, Clarence Darrow, but fucking crazy madcap antics type shit, that's insane. That's, like...
I don't think there's even a way to try the Death Note case in a court of law.
Well, what if the stand cops arrest him?
Because how the fuck do you get a jury to convict on that? Well, I mean, I suppose it's different in Japan. I'm not familiar with the legal process in Japan. I understand that their conviction rate is mad high, though.
What if Light Yagami had to fight Rohan Kishibe? So I mean, like, if he learned Rohan's name... Wait, can Rohan write in himself?
That would depend a lot on the context of the fight, quote unquote.
Well, if he wrote Rohan's name down, if he learned Rohan's name and wrote it down, then he would have like a heart attack. But Rohan would like realize that he's having a heart attack and immediately use Heaven's Door to peel open his arm and write, "My heart started beating again," and then it would, and he'd be like, "What the fuck was that?"
I don't think I'm not sure that that's how that would work.
Can
I
Rohan
think,
even
like-
write it himself? I feel like we've already
Once
done
you're-
this on this podcast.
Yes, I think he's written in himself before. Didn't he like? No, that was Josuke. That was Koichi.
While Rohan cannot read his own memories, he may write commands on himself. For example, by writing on his forehead, he commands himself to repress all memory of the events of Rohan at the Louvre, though they return after the command rubs off.
Oh, right. I want to say, wasn't there like a? Was there a? I thought there was something in Thus Spoke where he made himself forget.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh,
He commands himself to repress all memory of the events of Rohan at the Louvre. He writes it on his forehead. He like erases his own memory. That's
But
what.
then Rohan at the Louvre is non-canon, so.
Well,
I don't know.
It's something.
I think though, even if he could write it himself, you can't circumvent the Death Note.
You can't?
Like-
But no one else in that universe has magic.
So, yeah, that's true. We don't know how it would interact with different.
It's only had to go up against mortals. It's like a death god thing. But no one there has ever had a stand.
I would assume though that he's fated at that point. It'd be a bit like Bites the Dust.
I just realized Yoshikage Kira is kind of a Death Note thing himself. It's kind of a whole Death Note thing. Death Note came after, though, right? I wonder if there was any JoJo Part 4 inspiration there.
Maybe. It's definitely JoJo-esque.
Yeah, a little. Alright, so we'll use your MRI, and then we can... Back to the chapter. Show the graphic. So we'll use your MRI in the computer right here. We can analyze the images and find it. You can do it. The letters MRI. Do you know what they stand for? MRI? They stand for magnetic... man's a real idiot. Good gag, Usagi. You're dying, and you're bleeding from your eyes, but... Jodio,
The brain rot is real.
Jodio, you're my BFF, my IDD, and my KKD. Best friend forever, I'm deeply devoted, kind, kindred dude. And then he's laughing his ass off. Usagi, are you okay? There's blood coming out of his ear. If Usagi can't make the MRI... Shit. Oh, man. He's getting his ass kicked by the bag's groove. Bing! The elevator opens. I love these panels where we get I love these pages in JoJo where we get a big double page spread. But it's just quiet. There's no dialogue. It's just all visual.
Man, I wonder if they're gonna have the big, duo pose moment when the elevator doors open in the anime, where we just get a shot of them standing in the elevator before they walk out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they often remove single panels like that when it doesn't make sense in motion, but I don't know. We could get the shot of the elevator opening and then maybe shot of the lobby, sound of their footsteps, cut back, they're in the cool duo pose, and then cut around the shoulder?
Oh, I'm not thinking about like when they've already exited the elevator. I'm saying the elevator doors open, and like it just sort of lingers on that shot for just a second, while they're like already doing the pose.
Maybe, but I honestly feel like they'll probably combine these two panels and just have the elevator doors open and then pose once they come out. Maybe. X-ray, CT, MRI, so we're basement level 1. Examine progress, waiting time, 30 minutes. They're here, I'm sure of it. The people we're looking for are among everyone here. There's an exam in progress. Looks like there's 2 rooms doing them right now. Check them. Oh, the flowers. Yup, she sees the flowers. Yes, got it. Understood. Lulu-chan, here, they say they want to talk to you. So she doesn't have a phone? It's me, Aka Howler. Are you tired, Lulu-chan? Hello? I can hear you. Ah, okay. Lulu-chan, this call is for your ears only. This is an order. I've heard you're in the process of pursuing people who were looking at the original deeds. And I don't know who they are either, but it's possible that they might have something like a rock in their possession. Actually, there's no may about it. They definitely have one on them. To be precise, this rock is a hardened clump of lava. I don't know how big it is or what color it is, but I'm certain they've got one on them. A lava rock. That's right, a lava rock. Lulu, I want you to recover it for me. Got that? Not Agent Bobby Jean. Help Bobby eliminate all of them, but you have to be the one to find it, and then bring it to me in person.
This is going to seem really weird, but do you know what this phone call reminds me of?
The boss in Doppio?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, no, that's not weird at all. This makes perfect sense to me.
But the thing is, like the boss was calling himself, because as we later found out, they're the same person.
Right. Something else that's happening in here that this reminds me of is that this is a little bit like the girl reminds me of Poor Tom. You know, the way that we just have like a baby in the field as an operative. And also like, you know, Poor Tom eventually got double-crossed and killed by his own teammates who then took the branch. So, I don't know, like, how disposable is this kid? How does Howler treat his associates?
I think it's interesting that he's asking Lulu specifically.
Right, not Bobby Jean.
Not Bobby Jean. So it's like,
Maybe Lulu's a rock human and Bobby Jean's not. I don't know.
Maybe Bobby Jean is a little like whole horse and Howler doesn't trust him.
Maybe. Maybe Bobby Jean's kind of out for himself. Maybe he knows Bobby Jean's a bad detective and just doesn't want him in charge.
Man's a real idiot.
You got that? Still got that MRI Bobby Jean with you? The fact is that such money is making such abrupt movements can only mean that a lava rock was slipped out from that land in Hualalai. Agent Bobby Jean, here you go. The call's done. I got permission, he said, to eliminate them. How many are there? Where's the sick one? Inside an empty room. They're all looking inside. There's 5 of them in all. 5 people. Well, we still don't have any proof that they're the ones who went into the registry. But you don't mind, right? And I like this, that he's just pulling out his silencer and gently screwing it on. We've got yet another Better Call Saul parallel going on. He's Lalo just like delicately having a normal look on his face, just screwing in his suppressor. Next page, it's them. Do it. Glory days. Okay, so he shoots. They turn around. What was that sound? There's nothing there. Gunshots. That was the sound of a gun with a silencer. But then there are bullets. There's no bullets, and then there are bullets. Are those bullets? And they're moving? What the hell? Dragona, get down. And everyone gets fucking riddled with bullets.
This is really weird for like 2 reasons. It's first of all, they turn around and they're gone.
Right.
And second of all, obviously the speed of the bullets and how many of them there are.
Indeed. Yeah, that's how many bullets do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, he mag dumped. He emptied the clipazine. This is crazy. So the thing is, when he pulled out the gun and started screwing on the silencer, I was like, oh, cool, he doesn't have a stand. He's just like a gun guy. But then when he said glory days, I was like, okay, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
And
That's the instant confirmation. It's like, we would have been speculating over whether this is stand ability or just, I don't know.
yeah.
But because he said the name of the stand.
Yeah, him saying the
Automatic
name is the
confirmation.
metaphorical smoking gun. And the smoking gun is the literal smoking gun.
Hey.
Hey. I'll be here all week. Tip your waitresses. Alright. So he says glory days, and also he kind of does like a cool pose. He's doing like a Mista thing while he's shooting. He's like got one hand on the waistband. I don't know. Swagged out.
A little bit. It's a little bit Michael Jackson, actually.
A little bit. Alright. So he shoots. There's nothing. It seems like, at the very least, this guy has the ability to make his bullets go slow. If not, blink them in and out of existence.
I can't wait for this to be the actual cliffhanger of the episode when it's animated.
Yeah.
This is because you just see the whole crew get shot to hell. To be continued.
To be continued. And then on the last page, it says right here, gently shot. You see that?
Yeah.
So I think the bullets, because they're moving slowly, might also do less damage. Because they don't appear to be going through anyone. They're just like punching into them. You know? It's like they're rubber bullets or something. I don't know why he would...
shoot them with a regular gun.
What do you say?
So why wouldn't he just shoot them with a regular gun?
Yeah, I don't know why the hell he would do that, but I don't know. This doesn't seem like it's a better ability than a normal gun.
There doesn't seem to be any benefit to making his bullets slower.
Also, why even bother with the silencer if you're 2 feet away and they're gonna just hear you anyway?
Also,
Anyway.
how did they get out of there so fast? Are they like invisible or something?
I don't know.
Is that the ability?
Well, Glory Days made the bullets invisible, so I don't fucking know, to be honest with you. But it was funny, for a moment I thought to myself, when he pulled out the gun and said Glory Days, and it said Doshu on the page, where he like shot, I was like, holy shit, no fucking way. For the first time ever in the history of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, somebody shot just 1 bullet out of a gun. No fucking way. Because they always shoot it like a stand rush. You know what I mean? Like, and then like 5 of them fly up at once.
Shoots 1 bullet, it becomes 12 bullets.
I know.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. He shot the 1 bullet, it multiplied, but the speed was cut by 12.
Whoa. Okay. Huh. That's an interesting guess. Split 1 bullet into 12 for the cost of each bullet moving at 1/12 the speed. It's interesting.
Do you think Glory Days is the gun or the silencer?
I am actually going to bet that Glory Days is neither of those things, and that it is his ability, which he is merely applying to a non-enchanted weapon.
Yeah, that would actually make it more versatile, and we could see how it affects other stuff.
That would make for a more fun fight. And also, Araki has done the stand is a gun. He has done the bullets are a stand. Sorry, I'm doing that backwards. He has done a gun stand. He has done bullets stand. It would be weird and funny, but I don't really expect him to now do silencer stand. What's he gonna do next? Red dot sight stand? Underbarrel grenade launcher stand?
Stock stand.
magazine extendo clip stand? Iron sights stands? No, I don't know. Anyway, I really was excited because for a moment I thought someone finally just shot one bullet in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but alas, it was a million.
There was only one sound. So.
No,
It's
he
still-
said gunshots.
Huh? Gunshots.
Paco said
Oh.
gunshots.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't shoot one that split into 12.
Maybe his ability splits things into 6. Maybe he shot 2. He shot a minimum of twice. But this is... I hope this fight we get to see Charming Man do some more of his, like, illusions stuff from his introduction chapter. Because, again, I'm getting pretty sick of Araki, like, introducing shit and then just changing it, and, like, all of his stupid tendencies, you know, like, I don't know. If he never does any of that illusion stuff and knife fighting again, I'm gonna be so mad.
This
It's
is
like-
also like.
If it ends up being one of those things where it's like Poochie's ability to make slime and trap you in a dream and get dissolved while you're in the dream, if it becomes one of those things, I'm so mad.
This is also following like the trend of like this whole part where it's like it seems like all of the fights so far are like the whole crew are in on it.
Right. And I'm interested in how that's going to play out now with Charming Man part of the crew. Because he was our last fight. That was the last battle that really happened. Ever since then, we've been just like dealing with sickness. So there hasn't really been a battle for him to participate in yet.
I guess technically, like in the immediate future, like at least one of these people is going to have to split off from the group to help Usagi, because
Yeah.
he's still dying.
Right. He hasn't even summoned the fake MRI yet. Man, so what do you want to see in the next chapter? What are you hoping for? What are your predictions?
I just want to see more of Glory Days. Honestly, I just want to know what the stand is all about. So I'm
Yeah,
intrigued.
for sure. I, real quick, want to go look on the JoJo wiki and see just for the sake of it what they have listed as the stand's ability. Glory Days. The pistol resembles an FNX 45 tactical with raised sights.
I was able to see the takeover of the YouTube video of the song in real time, so that was fun.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, Araki is just like colonizing music, one band, one album, one song at a time. I love it. The full extent of the capabilities of Glory Days is currently unknown. It allows Bobby Jean to control the bullets he fires, such as making them suddenly appear or moving them after they were shot. The speed of the bullets can also be manipulated. Jodio Joestar and his allies are able to perceive the bullets slowly traveling towards them, but are unable to dodge in time before being struck. No. Well, I mean, that's basically what I expected. I mean, it's just a like a placeholder text that is like, it seems to be doing something to the bullets. It reminds me of The Room is Magic.
Because actually, like, if you look at these panels again, like, you look at the first panel where the bullets appear, and, like, you can see that they're clearly moving. They got the trail behind them. And then the next panel where the bullets appear, they're stationary, and then they start moving again.
Yeah. So it's not just one thing that's happening. He's like commanding the bullets to disappear and then to reappear and then speed up rapidly. Well, it kind of looks like they are moving very slowly because of the tails that's coming off of them, but what if he just like stopped them right there and then just hit go on them?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Hey, wait, you know what? I don't think the bullets disappeared at all, ever. I just think the moment when they whipped their heads back around, they expected to see a human standing there with a gun pointed, but instead they just saw the normal hospital lobby and the glass doors. And then it takes a second, your eyes adjust, that's Jodio going, ah, and then we see the bullets. I actually think the bullets were always there. I don't think them disappearing or reappearing ever actually happened. I think they were always just floating there in the air very slowly, but it took them a second to notice.
Could be. But you can clearly see there's a difference between, like, you've got the bullets with the tail, with the trails behind them.
Yeah.
And then in the next panel where you see the bullets, there's no trails.
Yeah, but I don't know if that really means anything, though. I think
maybe the
we
bullets
might be reading too much into that.
Maybe the bullets are trying to play red light, green light.
So, I was thinking about something else, and it took me a moment to process that. The bullets are playing red light, green light. Yeah. Incredible. Incredible stuff.
Okay, so I guess what are your thoughts on these two chapters?
I am excited for the fight proper to begin. I feel like I'm in a weird state with the JOJOLands fights so far because I have liked them, but each fight has this weird thing that happens where, like, I'm reading it and I'm like, oh shit, man, this is a great, like, setup for a fight. And, like, we're in, like, the opening stages of it and I'm waiting for the fight proper to happen. And then, like, the next chapter will come out and it'll either be, it feels like we're still not in the fight proper, we're still, like, setting up, or it'll just be the conclusion.
Feels like we always get one or two chapters of preamble.
Yeah, but this has been...
Or the fight itself is so understated that we don't even notice that it ended.
Right. The preamble for this fight begins... I would actually say this, like, challenge that we're on begins at the beginning of chapter 14. This is like the start of the fight because this is the start of the tension when they go into the land office and it first starts to become, like, scary. Like, oh no, what do we do? I spilled my noodles. I'm freaking out. I hope we don't get noticed by anybody. That's when the tension begins. And then,
but the actual like fight proper starts at the end of that chapter.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. The tension starts building here while we're in the thing. And then the tension gets released when they run outside, successful. And then Usagi collapses, and then this is the beginning of the fight. This is now, we're under attack by the stand. So then, next chapter, we're under attack, pulmonary edema, he stabs himself with the straw. There's the other lady, so we're, like, learning about the ability. We're like, okay, let's go get this thing. We don't get to pull it out. Oh, shit. Dragona's now infected too. So then that was a chapter of build-up, and then the fight has begun, and then this is a chapter of build-up also. The fight is started already, because we've gone from Usagi to now Usagi and Dragona and Charming Man are all fucked up now.
Charming Man versus the first Bags Groove is kind of like a little mini fight.
Well, it's the beginning of the battle against Bags Groove.
Little sneak preview of what's to come.
And so then, my point is, chapter 14 ends, and I'm thinking, wow, can't wait for this fight to get started next chapter. Chapter 15 ends, and I think, wow, can't wait for this fight to get started next chapter. Chapter 16 ends, and I go, wow, can't wait for this fight to get started next chapter.
But
Chapter 17 ends, and I go, wow, can't wait for this fight to get started next chapter.
But her aim is getting better.
But her aim is getting better! Yeah. But do you see my point? Four chapters in a row, I have ended with the emotion of like, wow, can't wait for this fight to get started next chapter.
And then, like, we'll immediately deflate if it turns out next chapter that, like, no, that was the end of the fight.
Yeah, that's the thing. It feels like setup, conclusion. Like, the damn, let's go back one fight. Let's go back to,
like Charming Man specific, like the gang versus Charming Man was like that, where like we thought, okay, the fight's getting started now, and then we just cut to like, oh, okay, now he's in the gang, I guess.
Yeah, the fight got finished really easily and really quick. So like, we're doing an experiment with the lava rock. They decide to go into the watch store. The tension starts rising from the watch thing. But this is actually just preamble to what will take place later, the watch. So this isn't even the real fight. But, you know, so fake Paco comes up and there's the heads of the cats. And so now, like, oh man, can't wait for this fight to get started next chapter. So then, you know, we have this opening part. The more watch store stuff, and then Paco is not really Paco. The stuff falls off his face. He slices Jodio's neck, and Jodio's on the ground, and I go, wow, can't wait for the fight to get started next chapter. Then the next one, Dragona takes a knife to the neck, but this chapter was actually, like, awesome. This was a chapter of, like, this is the fight proper. Because you immediately have Paco and fake Paco fighting each other, and he fucking hustles him and punches him and throws the chair and shit. So this one actually, I would say, breaks the rule. This one's just meat. This one's all meat and potatoes. It's a great fight. Great chapter and a great fight.
It does sort of end abruptly, though.
No, but it ends on a shocking, crazy, awesome note. Dragona's gonna get the watch, and then the watch is an illusion. The panel, the double page spread, the knife.
I was talking about the next one then.
Oh.
Where the fight ends, actually.
Yeah, I'm just on this chapter. This end of this chapter is what I thought you were talking about, and I just want to gush about how good the end of this chapter is. He does the watch thing, stabs Dragona all the way through the fucking neck, and then just grabs the lava rock and just coolly says, "Got it." And then disappears. That was such a good chapter ending. And like, Dragona, and then November Rain, and then hitting him in the ankle. And then the look in Jodio's eyes, like, thinking his sister's gonna die. Near lethal damage, the emergency operation begins. So this was all meat and potatoes. This is what I want from, like, a fight chapter. And sure, like, we cut away, we had some parts that weren't fight. The group kind of, like, circled up and talked about the watch and tried to figure out what the hell was going on. And there was a little bit of, like, those other people have the watch. But then that transitioned beautifully right back into the fight. So then chapter 11, it's like fight. It's pretty good. There's a lot of, like, dodging knife stuff, and Jodio fucking kicks him. But then the end, it is kind of abrupt. It is a little bit like, well, but it is clever. He's like, well, you can't surface because my stand will kill you. And I'll just keep huffing these bubbles down here. I don't know. And then Charming Man? That's a name? Going back through everything. Yeah. So
it's kind of interesting how easily Jodio forgave Charming Man.
Yeah, crazy. Because he thought it was like he was like watching his sister die. He was watching Dragona bleed out. Anyway, so chapter 12 doesn't end like that. Chapter 13 doesn't end like that.
I will say, at least we are still excited for what happens next. Unlike by the end of JOJOLands, where we just had lost all hope.
Well, I don't think we had lost all hope. I was still like, Well, no, we were like in the bargaining stage. We really were. We were like, okay, so there's no way we're actually gonna get what we want. But if I could just have like just a little piece, just a little morsel, please, anything. We were really in the bargaining
There's
stage.
2 chapters of a flashback.
Oh, dude, I want to go back and listen to myself on that podcast because I remember on the episode we did for chapter 109 being like, if we fucking start the next chapter and this flashback isn't done, I'm gonna scream. I remember being mad about that. What are you doing, man?
Podcast hosts who thought they lost all hope found last vestiges of hope they still hadn't lost.
Found one last piece of hope they hadn't quite lost yet and then lost it. Oh, man. All right, well, yeah, like, I'm hopeful. I'm excited to see where things go. But also, like, I don't know. Something feels weird about this to me. It's just, like, the pacing of it. I don't know. It's like, there's too much happening at once in this chapter. There's a lot of plates spinning.
Maybe this will be better because at least it'll be longer. Because now we've got 2 enemies at once.
Maybe, but I have a problem structure-wise with this. I have a problem with this structurally. My problem is twofold. A, I don't really feel like it serves your purposes to introduce the main villain of the part while there's a fucking active like fight going on, and that's kind of already a kind of a busy thing that's happening, you know?
Well, the point of that introduction was to show the effects that the Joestar gang's actions had on the other side. You know,
right?
It's to show like okay, here are the consequences of the choice that you just made.
Yes, so the chapter necessarily did have to touch on that. And he's done it so that when he calls them on the phone later in the chapter, it's not a shadowy, mysterious figure. It's an actual character who has a name and a face that we know. So we can be more...
We've come a long way from Shadow Boss.
Oh boy, it wasn't even Shadow Boss, dude. There were so many shadow characters in Part 5. Characters would frequently just appear as silhouettes because Araki didn't feel like designing them yet. That's crazy to me. Like, I thought he would jump at the chance to design some extra random shit he may or may not use.
Well, like, Shadow Boss specifically felt like a deliberate choice because, like, you're not supposed to know who the boss is, and, like, I guess any character design that he would have come up with would have undermined that.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the Shadow Boss. I don't like when, Saleh?
Oh, man, Saleh got silhouetted? Saleh was like the second guy they fought.
Yeah, who was the other guy?
Zucchero?
Zucchero, yeah. Saleh and Zucchero are in the car together in the Part 5 manga. And, yeah, Zucchero is the one that they fight on the damn boat. And Saleh is the one who has craft work, right?
Man, if they really silhouetted Saleh, what a pointless silhouette.
They did. Here, I'll pull it up.
What a...
You don't remember this?
Dumb.
Dumb, stupid, dumb. Ignore that. You don't remember this? Here, I'm pulling it up. I've actually got the colored manga for Part 5. Sacrilege, I know.
Yeah, I don't think... I'm not sure if they did that in the anime. I don't think they did.
They definitely did not.
Yeah, no, because it would have been dumb.
Dumb, stupid, dumb, idiot, dumb. Okay, right. So, yeah, it was right before they got on the boat.
I've been listening to Harmontown. Can you tell?
What'd you say?
I've been listening to Harmontown. Can't you tell?
Yeah, yeah. Dumb. I couldn't. I had to stop listening to Harmontown because it was making me stutter.
Yeah, I've started to pick up on some mannerisms of Dan.
Well, I mean, feel free to take the good ones. Yeah, so look at this. Fucking Sale is, like, silhouetted. Here, I'm gonna just screen share with you so you can see what I'm seeing, because I don't want to send all these images to you one by one. Look at this. There he is. Zucchero is here, but Sale is silhouetted, and it's not just this one page. Over here, over here.
Oh wow.
He's not a real
Dum,
character
dum.
yet.
That's not even what Saleh looks like.
Not in the slightest.
He's got a baseball cap on.
Yeah. And then there's other moments like this later in the manga. I think when we get introduced to yeah, oh, well, here he is. Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's why the baseball cap. It's so they could have this
you
moment.
can confuse him for that guy.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess it makes sense to have him silhouetted in this scene where Misa's shooting at it.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's just it's a weird like spoilers thing. Like he doesn't want to give away the character design.
No, actually, now that I think about it, I guess it makes sense because like then you're in the same headspace as Mista when you come into this, and like you're not like, huh, that's weird. Why is that? Why is it a guy in a baseball cap instead of the guy that we already know what he looks like?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it actually works now rereading it. It kind of makes sense to me why it's done this way. Also, I just want to point out how fucking cool this stand is. If this was modern day Araki, he would have given this the whole page. The moment where he throws the stones and starts to stand on them and walk and like rock climb through midair on the frozen stones, he would have given that a double page spread all its own.
For sure. Yeah.
Because that's so fucking cool. What an awesome image. What a neat usage of the power. Oh, and he starts tapping on the thing. Oh, and he gets fully shot. Yeah, I'm just reading part 5 now. Listen, I'm wasting time. We've got to end this stream. We've got to end this recording session. I've got to go take a shower and go to work. Is there anything else that we had to say about this chapter that we wanted to get to before the end?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
All right, well, see you next time on the Locacacast, everybody. We'll be back.
Don't get shot.
Don't get shot. Try not to get shot out there by bullets moving at any speed, really.
That's just always good advice.